the mics on and whatever, and then we'll throw over to them. Wow, what else are you looking at, Joey? Anything you're looking at going into the afternoon?
No, I'm done trading on the day. I had that TQ short, I had the long on Apple, so there's no other trades that I'm going to be just putting on. I'm happy with what we got going on. Obviously, it can be a little bit more, but at the end of the day, I'm accepting of my profits, and we bank those, and then we come back tomorrow to see if we can do the exact same thing again, maybe even a little bit better, hopefully even a little bit better. So, yeah.
I love hearing it, man. Yeah. All right. For Joseph, myself, and Adara, thank you for joining us on the midday. I hope you had a nice time with us. We traded a whole bunch of small caps. Your boy Joey was in and out of the future. What else did you trade?
And Apple.
And Apple, baby.
Yeah, Apple. So TQ's here, guys. ASANA chart quick before we go off. So that was the short there on the TQs. Obviously, it takes that additional leg lower, but that's okay. We get that break-even stop out. And then as for Apple, same thing. Just those two trades on AAPL, and that worked out really well for us. So,
all right, guys.
Here we go.
See you guys tomorrow. I'll see everybody at the big desk. Big boys, that away.
Yo, what's up?
Welcome back, everybody. Ooh, the Fed Beige Book is out. Does anyone ever really care about the Fed Beige Book?
What
in
Fed
20-something years, I don't remember it ever being a big deal. And but yet, when you go to all the websites, so like investing.com or all these the economic calendars, and they have like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, or like 4 or 5. It's never a 1. It's always like a 2 or a 3. Yet somehow,
I don't know what those guys
feel as if it should always be a 1 because it ends up a little bit of a nothing burger. That being said, thanks to the guys in the midday. Obviously, we had a meeting, so we just got out of it now, and we're coming back, sitting down at the desk. I have no positions on because anything I was in seems like it ran. Oh, that's fun. It ran the tops and then came right back in. Like, I was in Intel, the short side, and left the stop. I probably would have been back into this one, but it doesn't even matter. It's break and retest the short of the day. You mean the low of the day.
Yeah.
Because that's where we're at. The Nasdaq is threatening to go red. And remember, we started today with like a rising tide lifting all ships, and that rising tide being Alphabet and Apple. And what was bringing up the market is now all the way dead. Palantir's all the way back at the low of the day.
Come on, dog.
Wow. This Palantir was going absolute buck wild, like buck nasty. 161. What a turn. What an absolute turn.
I have the same kind of situation here where I thought I was coming back to a good winner. This is the future short. Future short. Future short. Taken out at the top. Taken out at the top. Whoops. I just set the stop.
Oh, shit.
I just set the stop rates basically at the 200 period moving average, and I should have given it to the top. And this is the thing that I'm dealing with, and it's like when you start to use more shares, I feel like for myself, sometimes get a little aggressive with the stops when you should give it just a little bit more room, and I was just like, ugh. So I thought we were going to have a nice one coming back in here. So we were thinking short. I heard Joe talk that he had the short, so that's awesome. So that's great.
Reddit.
Yeah, the market came right back in. Like the minute, and by the way, like we got out of our Tesla trade as well. We're going to do the rundown. Welcome everybody back there. You know, we had this trade here, and I got out. So I put stops in, right, on all these trades. So the minute we broke the 200 there, we got out on the way back down. So that saved a couple bucks. So sometimes, you know, it works in your benefit as well. And then Google, we are topping out here. That's kind of still top heavy. This is going to be the trade that we had from the jump right into there, 225. And we got out 230.50, so $5 or whatever. And now it's coming back down, and we have a very small percent left on this trade. But yeah, you got to have stop orders. And it's just, that sucks because this should have been, you know, anyways, it would have been a decent winner if we didn't get stopped out there. But we did, and that's what happens when you get stopped out, right? Ifs and buts. We actually had a meeting. We said most trading we talked about is like it's hindsight when you sit here and you talk about what's been happening. Sometimes the best part is to talk about, you know, what.
Well, I can tell you this much. If we close like this, Reddit's going to look like the biggest short opportunity tomorrow. This candle is the daily candle. I'm sure a lot of other stocks might have a candle that looks like this today, but this morning we were talking about reversal candles when Raheem was here, and he mentioned, and it was Shopify reversal the other way. That's going to be, if we close down here, a nasty reversal candle, going from breaking out to absolutely giving everything up and potentially turning red. The streak could end on Palantir if it doesn't get back to 156 and a half or so, or wherever that 50 period is on the daily. This has had an unbelievable streak. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything, but what it's been doing is closing every day above a big support line. If today's the day that you don't close above that, then you come in looking short tomorrow on Palantir instead of the long. No questions asked. Like this is nuts. If we close underneath that 50 period, I'm just thinking short for sure tomorrow on Palantir. That being said, it seems to be at the support level of 155, and the streak isn't over just yet. Yeah, wow, what a huge reversal in the market, and you know that's just how it goes sometimes. I looked over.
We could still stay green today.
Like Lucid is, yeah, that's going to be more frustrating because I was trying to get reloaded back into this. These reverse splits are nasty, and they just get nastier. You know, WorkSport we were just talking about this one, like WorkSport reverse split and then tried to go on absolutely no news. This seems like it's also potentially on the other side of the V, although the volume really dried up on this. Like almost nothing. Is there anything that was strong this morning that's still strong? I haven't found a single thing. Google. Not even a small cap. Well, Alphabet.
Yeah, Alphabet. I mean, other than staying up there. I mean, we can have a quick look. We're going to get ready for this rundown in just a couple seconds. These are the hot symbols right now. Tesla still holding 338, but to Neil's point, down from the open. NVIDIA there. Q, SPY, Google there. Palantir now down 1%. Apple, it looks like Apple, I guess, actually, still holding out. Yeah, so Apple is one of the top names right now holding out some kind of support, right? I mean, there's the move down.
SMR is holding,
It's still above the two. Actually, this is looking. I don't know, man. This is the problem with this after show. It's just the PM show. It's tough to find because the big moves have happened, and it's just kind of like waiting around, trying to figure out what the market kind of wants to do in the afternoon, then finding names that you can agree with, right? Which is why I'm in the futures right now to see if we can, you know, maybe continue with a move to the downside here. And, you know, this is why I'm looking at the Nasdaq right now, starting to tick lower. This is why, quite frankly, I like the short, you know, coming into this level right here. You saw where I got stopped out. It's just right into there, like top, you know. And unfortunately, that's going to haunt me a little bit because that is a day turner rounder right there if we just sort of kept that trade back on. But welcome everybody. I'm going to actually reset right now the trade visualizer because again we realize that this is part of what you want. So if you get into the chat right here right now, we'll fresh start. Oops, when I do that I guess I lose the chat. We'll fresh start that. Thanks Fabian for building this up. So what you got to do is you got to do $Neil like that, $Tesla, $Marvell, whatever names that you call up. Ooh, AB. So remember we looked at this in the morning, it was $14. ABTC, and I went to Adara, and that's where it was DJ TJ style, and she had brought that to us, noticing that it was Donald Trump there, all-American Bitcoin, as that's back in after a bunch of different halts there. So, you know, give us the goods on here. Let us know which names, and there we go. The chat is now picking up, so we want to thank you for that. Marvell and all of that, PDD, CoreWeave again, Neil, so that's a good stock. We'll look at Neil in a second. And then Hertz down 5% right there at 4 bucks. Here, I can stop this. And just to give you guys a quick idea of what we're talking about, as soon as you vote, all of these will populate, and then it'll give Neil and myself. Oh, Marvell's back. I didn't even realize I was down another 4% today, so we'll have to look. Good day 2 battle back for Marvell. Not a good day 3, it looks like right here, down 4%. So that's what's coming through there, MSTR. So all these names we will spend our time on during this after show, and we'll talk about, you know, some trade ideas and things like that as well, and then get you set up for what should be, again, a decent earnings night, right? I mean, and we talked about part of the best parts of the earnings, the market recap show, and we talked about this with Brendo and Adara and all that, is the fact that showing the numbers, right?
Yeah.
And like getting the numbers as fast as possible to you. Adara reads them, then we look
or
at the
lack
chart.
of numbers when it comes to C3 AI.
Oh gosh, yeah. Any profitable or not?
They don't make money, do they?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, now what's going to happen is C3 AI is going to have like record profits or something, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, I don't know. Did they make money? They probably didn't last time.
I seriously doubt it.
Right there.
But I object. But you know, look, But that's the most. What's interesting about earnings season is anything can happen. Surprises happen all the time, and it's exactly the kind of name. We'll start the rundown. But C3AI is exactly the kind of name that if they were to surprise, oh my, it could be a gangbusters. That said, the stock has not been very good since bouncing in August. But let's see what you guys wanted to talk about with our little rundown. Sharif is locked and loaded, ready to go. Nice shirt, Sharif. I feel like we have the same shirt, different colors.
I didn't realize it was.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown, everyone. The show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. You saw the boys; they're locked, they're loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers up there is to join us on the whenever you want. Get into the chat actually from 8:30 onward and vote for your favorite tickers every day. Just make sure you're throwing in that $sign before whatever ticker your heart so desires. So let's get to the first one on the day open, guys. We're not going to look at the markets today because it's malfunctioning. But OPEN, nice, always number one on the rundown, but it is down again today, down 1/3%. Didn't start out that way in the pre-market. We were trying to test that 5 1/3, 5.5. We're trying to hold on to 5 right now, guys. Open again on the top of the rundown. No catalyst though.
We just want to remind you, use like the ETFs up there if there's a problem, because we know that there is a problem with some of the entitlements on that account.
Anything on Nasdaq?
Yeah, so just look at QQs or SPY or something. Okay, so what is it? Opendoor. What's up, everybody? So this is the rundown here. Opendoor is getting a lot of credit there on the rundown, and for good reason, right? Today, Opendoor again just flying to the high side early and giving some back late. So, we came in with it up a couple percentage points, but look at that 540, we couldn't really get through there, and now it's downside. When you're creating, obviously there's the high, lower high, lower high, lower high as we continue to move downside, and now you get sloping, everything coming to the downside, downside 50 period, downside 200. Looks like we're getting lower there for Opendoor. So just quickly, these stocks are meme stocks, and they go up and down based on people holding signs outside. I actually, when I was growing up during the GameStop age, I remember my son and we stood outside of a GameStop store, and we're doing the rockets and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And I remember walking by the, it was at the time just an overpass of a road, and there was GME and AMC rockets on there, and there was the Reddit guy or the, all that kind of
that's what this
fun stuff going on there, right? And I think that's sort of what's been happening with Opendoor, and it's really worked. I mean, this was from 40 cents and just kind of mooned to the upside there. We continue to talk about this name and look for reasons for this. Technically, their quarter was actually pretty bad, and I think that's what this pullback was. We could probably go back and look at it August 19th. It was not great, but that didn't seem to matter, and it's just an upside push here. So all I caution is this $6 mark, and I don't think the risk to reward right now, and again, you guys are the ones trading this, but going long here at $5, that's like losing back down into 4 is more than gaining from 5 to 6. So I just think trading in here in the middle is a little risky for a day trade. We always want to try to buy 5s or buy even dollars. So I think that's worked out okay. But other than that, I don't think it's worth the risk to reward right now to take a new position anyways in Opendoor, because where's your stop going to be? 4? So that's losing $1 on, so that's losing 20, 25%. I mean, if you're right, you're going to go upside, and then it's not 25% upside. But anyways, at the end of the day, that's Opendoor, and for me, it's just in a risk-off position right now. I would rather it either be breaking that 6, where I think they're justified to go long there, or taking out that 4, in which I don't know if you want to swing short or not, but
that's the other thing.
That's the other option.
It's on the precipice of another fail to hold $5. So it looked like it was going to hold 5 today. I was playing into the long holding the $5 level today, but it never broke out the high, which really should have signaled a reverse, but wasn't, you're not sitting here. It's almost, if it loses 5 today, I'd be thinking short this afternoon. It's a bit of a gap fill. It tries to hold $5, and all these rejections usually have followed through. So, every time it's rejected $5, it's been pretty good to the south side. I don't see any difference here if we lose $5 on open, but it's still an upward trend. So, like to Sean's point, you're putting in some higher lows. It's not like it loses $5 and that's necessarily game over, But if it loses trend, it's at least short-term game over on Opendoor. And that's how you have to treat and respect these things. Make sure you get your profit, because if it's meme stock and it's momentum, well, you don't want to be left without, when the music stops, without a chair. And as long as you've taken some profit on the way up, then you should be fine. But I'm going to look, I might just take a 5 break and give it 5 pennies and see how it goes.
What's the
Down.
the chair game?
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs.
My
I was
daughter-
thinking like Ring Around the Rosie. I'm like, that's
Did I tell the story? So we went on one of those the pirate cruise things when we were in spring training. Whatever.
Okay.
It's just like you go on a ship. It's not like a booze cruise, but like the adults get to have some beverages. The kids play games and shoot. They do the treasure hunt on the ship, and there's music and dancing. They did a musical chair.
Yeah, those are fun. Yeah.
With the kids, and there was like, I have to give full credit to this one older kid who essentially, well, it came to my daughter, a kid that was maybe a 12 or 13, let's just say, and another kid who was like younger, maybe like 6 years old. And like Aaron got out in like 3rd place or whatever it was. But this other bigger kid
not bad.
easily had the win against this little kid.
And he gave it up.
He completely gave it up. Like the little kid couldn't tell, but everybody around was like, oh yeah, you threw that 100% so the little guy could win. And it was just like, people were going up to the parents just like, man, that was...
Yeah, well raised.
You raised yourself a good one right there. So anyways, musical chairs, it didn't get very physical, thankfully, because sometimes that game does.
Hopefully with kids it does.
You'd hope it does.
I think it would, like if it was, Was there any adults involved? No, it was all kids.
No, it was all kids, thankfully, because booze, adults, musical chairs probably wouldn't have gone so well.
Yeah, they'd just be falling over like off deck.
Yeah, let's not get started about falling over off deck. My brother and one of those booze cruises in Antigua.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, that's not actually what happened, and for his sake, I won't tell what did. Let's go talk about Palantir.
All right, guys, down about 1%, a little bit more than that. Palantir, no specific catalyst on it today, but Mark Benioff was chiming about Palantir yesterday in the same way that he was chiming about Tesla and Optimus. So coming back into that 155 area, guys, that we defended earlier on, still down though 1.03%.
Right there. Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, I'll just say it, and basically Neil thought his brother went over and didn't. So thank God.
He was safely on board the ship.
Right. So, okay. Yeah, a lot better than what it could have been. I don't know. Someone in the chat said, good call on the Palantir breakdown. Yeah, I mean, we're short the market here and fine. But I think this goes back to the same talk that we've been having for a while. And that is like, there are names that have been getting hit, right? That have weak tendencies, right? And I think that right now, unfortunately, Palantir is just one of those names where when the times are good, it goes, right? But then do you really trust the long? But then when the times are bad, it definitely can fall down and lead the market, or what seems to be leading the market, be more aggressive than the market anyways. How did I not get filled on that recent move down on the TQs right there? That's crazy. But anyways, that little move there, is it rocket science that we bounced off the low of the day? Probably not. But you see, this is what I'm talking about with that capitulation move there. So I don't know if we are talking about trading or the story of the stock here, but for me, for trading, if we can ever see something like that, where the real level seems to be 155, and then all of a sudden, this is a 1 minute chart, it went to 153.40. What's that even doing at 941? Like, that's a crazy flash crash there. And then it led, and again, the market obviously moving around, but that was a huge move back up. So I think if you're long right now, anything on Palantir, you want to get out if it breaks this 154.80, because you don't need to be part of something like this. If liquidity all of a sudden dries up there, then you're going to have a much bigger loss than you thought. Look at the 50-period moving average here on Palantir. It's broken until it's fixed. I don't know how else to say this. It's downside pressure on PLTR. I wish it wasn't true, but right now the daily, it looks to me more like a short than a long. We've made their tops. It's come from such a far away. All these wick tops keep coinciding with where we were before this huge move. So there's the breakout on earnings. Here's the move back down on valuation. And if anything ever slips up with the Nasdaq, this name is in trouble. So I'm not dip buying anything here in the long term. I do really like Palantir, but unfortunately right now, I think better to buy the Nasdaq if you like tech names than to catch what unfortunately is a falling knife whenever the market decides to go down. So as Palantir is sinking like a ship. It's like it's got its own defense systems focusing on it right now. But there goes the downside.
It's breaking a good pattern in a bad way today. And that's, again, it would have to climb $1 change to not look very, very bad on the daily chart for a reversal. Because there's clearly been buyers on this stock, like very, very clearly been people buying in this range and keeping it afloat above 155, 156 every single day. Like it dips underneath, it recovers. It dips underneath, it recovers. It holds the fort. It breaks sometimes, but it's been holding the fort. Today looks like the day where after the dip, it then comes back to close at the low. Bad, 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 bad. I think we're looking, we're not done yet, obviously, but if we open up underneath 155 tomorrow, you got to be thinking short on Palantir in the short term, unfortunately.
I mean, Palantir right here, its current PE is 525.
Is that all?
So there it is right there. Their forward P is 181, even if you take in consideration. Like if everything goes according to plan, you got 181. That's ridiculous. You see Google's had a huge move, right? Google's PE 22. Like you're not even close to the same business here, right? Apple's 34.28, right? There's different names here when we're talking about what the market is versus everything else. Look at what SMR. I mean, some of these names that don't even have earnings are flying around as well, right? So I don't want to like.
Yeah, they don't even make money.
Yeah, I don't even want to point the finger at some of these other names. What is UNH? 3? No, 17. I have no idea. I thought some of these healthcare names, XOM.
You know, I actually thought UNH would be better than that.
Well, that's XOMP. Hold on a second. I just want to see what energy names are, just to give you guys an example of low PEs. 16 and 14, right? They're generally this low. But for tech names, like if you think about the ultimate growth name, like what about a Meta coming through here? I'm going to say it's probably 50 and change. No, even Meta. Okay, even Meta is a lot better because it's pulled back as well, 26, 24. So when we're talking about Palantir, unfortunately, that's what always gets discussed is the valuations, but it doesn't mean that it has to only go down.
Perfect timing on this super chat.
Ooh.
Because
shit, we got a lot of super chats.
I'm short Tesla, says WJ Larson. I'm just going to say William J. Larson. It just seems like it's a William J.
Yes.
William J. Larson. I have no idea.
Why do I have 5 super chats?
I can't help but notice how controlled the selling is going. Is this done bless you, programmatically so that institutions can unload?
Shut up, Mark.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's go to the desk. We're going to talk about Tesla right now, anyways. But perfect timing on that. I'm assuming this other super chat is the same thing. So thank you for the super chat, WJ, and let's talk Tesla.
Tesla up 2 1/3, guys, but certainly well off the highs. It got to about 343, trading at about 337 right now. No real catalyst on this, but as I mentioned, Mark Benioff posting on X the following: Elon's Tesla Optimus is here. Dawn of the physical agent force revolution, tackling human work for $200,000 to $500,000. Productivity game changer. Congrats, Elon, and thank you for always being so kind to me. Obviously not market moving, guys, but really no catalyst today for Tesla other than this.
So you mean algorithmically, but yeah, programmatically is another way to say it. I just never heard that term before in the trading context, programmatically, but algorithmically,
I like it.
A lot of times you will see that kind of a stair step in and we saw this to the upside yesterday with Google, and you'll sort of see this when we get these gentle linear trends that don't have much of a pullback. Like there's not much consolidation on the way back in. But then a part of that is there's longs unwinding in multiple places here on Tesla because it was up so strongly. So it essentially broke its upward trend. And since then, it's been in a bit of a fall. And anyone that bought the dip in the morning is likely trailing out. The other thing to keep in mind is this stock has been, it's almost like an algorithm heartbeat for the last couple of months now. Okay, so we got bad news every few weeks when it comes to whether it's China, whether it's Europe, or whether it was their earnings. We're dogging on the EV sales. But this entire time, that's just led to a very gentle upward trend for Tesla. So overall, this looks not that bad. That's the first thing on the daily chart. I think you're getting some profit taking relative to the market. This seems a little bit better than everything else. It's holding the 200, the 50, and that gentle upward trend is still very much intact. Like if I just look at something like that on Tesla, my fear is when all of a sudden we're breaking this little higher high, higher low, let's gently move up story. That stops happening, we don't get any good news, then I'm worried about you, Tesla. But for now, it's great intraday trading, but the overall theme has been boring. Meanwhile, other Mag 7 names are moving around and giving you moves back into the 52-week highs, or new 52-week highs like Google here today, or Apple eventually getting there. All the rest have pretty much gotten there. Tesla's been boring on the daily.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of looking like Palantir there, where just kind of barcoding for a bit, but there does have a decent range, at least, with Tesla. But yeah, not as exciting as other names, but just a programmatic selling happening here. I always use the 200-period moving average as like, is it going to hold or not? And if not, then probably use it as support or resistance, whatever, going the other way. So that's where we tapped out. Now we, took some shots on Tesla today, and we talk about this all the time. It can move like this, and when Tesla gets an idea behind it, it'll just go, right? Traders will bail on this. And I think that's because there's a lot of aggression in Tesla early, especially every morning, where traders are trying to catch, like I was trying to catch. And we have a $14 winner on, but it's like, how many times does it take to find that, right? And I think that Tesla for me is like one of the stocks where you should have the most patience. Because if you'd have told me here when I was going long at 331 that eventually I'd get them out at 340, I wouldn't be sitting here anymore. We'd be chilling out somewhere in the Maldives or something. But like right now, I don't know how long does it take how long does it take to fly from here to like somewhere exotic?
The Maldives, that's kind of random, no?
Yeah, I'm just a random guy. But at the end of the day, no, I don't know. I'll just go wherever my wife wants to go. But right there, I was just going to say like that's hard to predict. So just like the buying is in there, you just try to look at the volumes, and like right now, pretty red coming through. So I would just say, man, you're underneath VWAP, just play the trends right now, and it seems to be lower. You're still waiting for robotics. You're still waiting for that end story, right? And I think that until we get a big release one way or the other from Elon, I just don't think it's time. And Neil nailed it there, that it's just doing this. So to waste thoughts and everything on it right now, I think is you wait for 360 to break, or you wait for, unfortunately, dip by opportunity. I think they're buying opportunities in and around 280, 290 down into here, right? I think I'll be buying if and when that does happen. Our futures trade is finally starting to go back down to the downside, but we'll go to Neil and then we'll talk about, Bitcoin.
Oh, we got to talk about this because each year there are 3.8 million concussions reported in the U.S., yet still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Orgenex, OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Orgenex is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Scan the QR code you see in front of you. That's OGEN. And we'll talk a little bit about ABTC, which it was almost prophetic the way that this one played out there, Sharif. I feel like this probably didn't surprise too many people with the price action that we saw when it reversed. $13.
Well said, Neil. Yeah, this is what we call ASANA a Christmas tree retracement. All the way up, green on one side, all the way down, red on the other. So American Bitcoin debuts today on the Nasdaq as ABTC after completing its stock-for-stock merger with Gryphon Digital Mining. The company describes itself as a Bitcoin accumulation platform focused on building America's Bitcoin infrastructure backbone, guys. It is up, I believe, 2.5% on the day.
Yeah, finally the market's coming back in.
Buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, we looked at that was halting like crazy.
It was funny because we talked about it and was like, ooh, don't chase these things. Then it halted to the downside twice in a row. And really, it never looked back. Obviously, the story is going to end up being it's up 37%, a fantastic debut. But unless you bought it in that opening 10 minutes or so, or maybe caught it at 11 o'clock or right here at 12:30, almost all of the buying would be out of the money at this point on ABTC. And that's sort of the nitty-gritty of it, isn't it? Ultimately. So, yeah, I don't want to say that it's been an unsuccessful debut, because to a lot of people, I'm sure this absolutely is one. But just always be careful. As quickly as these go up, that's how fast they can come back in. And unfortunately, in this particular case, your first 10 minutes of trading, at least to the extent that it was able to not be halted, were your best moments. And that's a theme that we've been seeing recently for anything that comes to market. Oftentimes, that opening rush is as good as it gets. And we're not seeing the type of follow-through before. And someone mentioned in the chat, it could be indicative of a bit of a market correction, which is in itself a bit of a change in sentiment. And sometimes it gets displayed like this, where you don't want to chase the shiny new thing when it's gone parabolic. Very dangerous thing to do. It's great when the euphoria is running high, but when the market is not looking that euphoric, you can get yourself absolutely rinsed and burned. This is up 37%, but if you bought it anytime between like 10, I don't know, like 10 and 10.50 or so, like that hour of trading, you're out at least 10%, if not more.
Yeah, I'd say give this a day or two, right, to at least settle down, and then you can find some levels. I mean, that to me is all that matters. I mean, there's the halt, there's the halt, there's the halt. Would have been, I probably would have gone long. I didn't even realize this was happening today. Because if you go long 820, it looks like, it falls down to 770. Yeah, you'd probably be a losing trade if you take that.
You got to have whole hell.
Then you had to have waited for that first halt. And I think we've seen a couple times here, not to give everybody the playbook again because we do it all the time for IPOs, but that first halt generally will get you going higher. It's not like it will halt and then come lower. So, but there it is.
The DWAC thing.
Yeah, did DWAC halt and go lower?
No.
But DWAC was a SPAC.
I know, but it was during the time when they were all working, and the DWAC initial halt up was like everybody was just, well, whatever, everyone's going to be in this trade, so just take it, and then if you couldn't get that, you literally just took Funware.
Yeah. Oh yeah, PHUN. Yeah, because that was a proxy to it, basically. Yeah. So I just think that boom, that continued to work. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I just think that we need to do a better job, obviously, of all of us here of trading IPOs, especially we do a great job trading the bigger ones, but this was one that, with crypto and Trump and all that, probably could have made some decent coin on here. So now that's over with, and now we're looking to actually trade it. I don't think you do anything until you get a couple days of data. So that's going to be my look there. But we'll go back to ABTC. Especially with it being Trump related and Bitcoin related, there's going to be headlines that are coming through on this name. So we'll just look to trade this as that happens. And now the good thing about it is now we've drawn attention to the name. So when Neil and I see it in the chat, or we hear it from Adara or Sharif or anybody, we know, okay, this might be more serious. We should look over there because there's so many runners every day. I think this one could be one for the next little while.
Fell under the radar a bit.
Let's remember September, although that's nothing to do with potentially ABTC, but September is the worst month historically for the markets. So Bitcoin and all that, it might be a good opportunity if there is a dramatic move one way or the other to look to pick something up maybe on dramatic moves down, because October, November, December generally seem to be bullish months heading into the year end for most companies. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk and figure out what's going on with HIMS.
It's up 7.5%, Sean, on no news. Another one with no catalyst today, but it has a substantial short float and continues to have one. 35.25%, guys, is the short float on HIMS and Hers. A little bit on the way down now, trying to hold 44.5.
Yeah, it was no particular catalyst in here, but yet such a strong move. What you can say, though, is HIMS has done a very good job of bouncing off $40 recently. So it could just be that. You could just be bouncing off 40, and whatever excuse you have to be relatively strong and running as Jinx. What I was about to say next is, as the market's breaking the low, HIMS is holding above VWAP and relatively strong. It's literally breaking that support as we speak, and this one might be turning into the other end of the equation. So, yeah, if there had been a story to sink the teeth into, I might feel better about it potentially breaking out on this on the chart in the daily and looking like a multi-day play, but without a specific catalyst. Looks like it's just a little technical bounce off of a nice support level, which is already held 3 times, that was unable to really punch through. And if anything, this afternoon, it's looking like it wants to lose VWAP. It could always, it could always break this trend. I like that setup. I like this setup. You're trending clean into the volume weighted average price. You break that trend, kind of enter as it's breaking higher, but that requires that it breaks a downtrend, and it's not showing any signs of doing that at this moment. So it's going to have to do that for me to look at this to the long side and get some continuation on HIMS. I know.
So right now, just let everybody know, we are an idea we have is to get out right now of some of these TQQs. Again, this is that level yesterday where we made it up to on that Google and Apple news. And then we started to bounce around and then only extending it higher through today. So let's see what happens in and around here. We're just trying to take some out. We've been short, like these are 4 shorts, multiple outs. So I'm still upset a little bit that got stopped out, because even if it's 500 shares, you know, it's down in the $1.50 in the money. It would have been nice, but it doesn't matter. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. These are new positions that I started while on air, right? And so I'm going to cover just a little bit more here at 62, and then we'll get out 15% of this last bit that we have. We have half left of what we have, so we'll get out 15% of what we have now, so which is only like maybe 10% of the original spot, or a little bit, what am I doing, like 7% of the original spot? Hopefully we'll get some more out, and then if we can dip down, we'll let it ride for the rest of the night. Okay, and we'll take some more trades as well, but I have a fun kind of question here, because I was thinking about, you know, what we're talking about here tonight. So I was going to say, I'm going to send this over to, who's over there? It's Andre. So I was thinking that out of all these names reporting tonight, CRM, Credo, there's a whole bunch, AEO, I was going to pick CRM, AEO, ChargePoint, CHPT right there, and then I was going to pick AI, C3 AI. So I was going to say,
What about Figma though?
Figma, we can use Figma. I think you can only do 4 choices, right? Is that right?
Yeah, you only do 4 in a poll.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
you.
if you had $5,000, or let's just say 10 grand, Andre, I'll send it to you. Neil and I can discuss. Okay, what do you want to use? Let's do CRM. Let's do American Eagle, because there's news there. Let's do...
No one's going to want Figma, so maybe don't do
AI, C3 AI.
Maybe
Is PD, that's not Pinduoduo, that's PagerDuty. No one cares.
No one cares about PagerDuty.
HPE then? I don't know. Let's do HPE, forget it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do.
No
You're going to pick, and the question is going to be, if you had 10K to invest, which one of these 4 names would you invest in? And we're going to give you 4. So I'm going to send them right now to Andre, and they're going to get populated right now. So you guys get ready. I'm going to try to do this every night.
Salesforce.
Right now. Oh, Bob the Dog. You know Bob the Dog?
Bob wants Figma.
I consider this spamming right now, Bob the Dog.
That is spamming.
Banhammer?
Don't.
Put user. Nah, we're not gonna do it. Not for you, Bob, that dog.
You're all good, Bob.
You're all good,
Just don't
Bob.
do it.
No, I'm just playing around. Yeah, what's up? We want as much engagement as possible in the chat. So we'll do those 4 names, and we won't do, we could do, I mean, hold on a second. Why not? Why didn't you want to use Figma? You said maybe no Figma.
No. It's just because you have to pick 4. So, you know, it's ultimately somebody, you can't pick all the names. You can only do 4 of them.
Yeah.
I was just like, who's going to actually pick Figma?
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to do is like people that stocks might be interested in. So
well,
I think
AES 100%, CRM of course.
CRM for
Those
sure,
are the 2
AEO.
C3 AI makes.
I thought ChargePoint and C3 AI.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What does ChargePoint look
Figma's
like?
not popular
CHPT.
enough, I don't think.
I don't know, you guys. Am I way off base here? I don't know. There's only a $10 name. It's only done 400,000. It's not ChargePoint. We're not using ChargePoint. There's not enough. Oh, ASANA actually.
ASANA.
Yeah, I like a Steam Room or ASANA. I mean, you can go in either one of these. But here it is. Yeah. So ASANA has implied move of 16%. This is the largest one. Okay, ASANA is going in there, not ChargePoint. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get that. So Neil, start talking about something, and I'm going to send this over right now to my guy over there, and he's going to put it up, Andre.
Shoot, I just heard
Andre
something
3000.
about Pfizer.
You heard something? Oh no, my thing must not be working.
Shoot, it was something about takeover truck, but I was listening to what you were saying. And
I missed it. I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, it's one of the sad things about paying attention to what's around you is it's very difficult to listen at the left ear. Even for myself, to Sean, and pay close attention to what's going on in the right ear, which is
some Olema, OLMA.
OLMA.
I heard.
Yeah,
it.
whatever that was.
Okay, Andre.
Olema Pharmaceuticals. It's something about them and Pfizer, I think. But I don't know. Pfizer is the kind of company that people have been speculating would make some acquisitions. So you're probably looking at a small cap biopharma here
on them,
as Olema, and maybe Pfizer's interested. They're making a bit of a spike. Pfizer is doing a heck of a lot of nothing.
I'm still in. I don't even.
Because that's what they do. Absolutely.
I don't even know how much it is now.
Absolutely nothing. Boring. I was in open on the first 5 break. Broke back about 505. And then I just got back in on the second break. It still can't get through the low of the day yet. But, you know, I'm in it the second time through. I'll give it the same stop as well. Palantir, someone said the short trade's over in Palantir. That's a bottoming tail candle. But look at that, right back. right back in, retesting potentially these lows. Like it's holding, right? I like this pullback. It could signal low. If you're able to hold, not break this prior candle, then Palantir could have found a little bit of a temporary, let's just call it a temporary bottom here in Palantir. But the other name I was looking at for along with HIMS, whoops. Why do I always come up with it's Blue Ocean is just always there, but it's HIMS.
You're loving Blue Ocean, I guess.
Nah, it's just no matter what, it's at the top, but I typed the HMZ anyways. And now I have to wait for that to unload and go to HIMS. That lost VWAP looks like that long is not really setting up very well. As I hear we're going to be going to Adara in a quick little second, but I still like this trend break long on HIMS, which could happen any second.
All right, so we're going to get that up and going, of course, when possible. And we just talked about getting out of some of the TQQs, and I mean, you know, there it comes right back up again as the futures. We've seen it kind of go for a little bit of a jaunt into the after show. I don't keep on confusing what I should be calling this show, but you know, into the closing show, I guess here. Yeah, we'll just be careful of that. You know, yesterday, this is what happened from the TQQs. The day before, the Nasdaq, this is what happened. That's the same day, so we had to go one more day here. Kind of didn't do too much the day before that. What was Friday saying? Yeah, I mean, a nice little dump that happened. That's at 350. I'm not going to wait for that. But look at this. The trend was higher into the afternoon again for basically the last 3 days. So yeah, this position's a little bit at risk right now. I'm going to use it against 89.50. So we're not going to average in. Sorry, 89.50. Hello, 88.50. Upside here, right into here. So I'm going to try to see if this wants to go. I want to watch the 200 period. Just the fact that we're taking out the 50 period on a 1 minute chart, obviously it's a nice downside push here. Maybe we should be getting out right here. So there's some discussion in my lonely head about what to do at these current levels, because for the first period here, for the first time since 1:30, so it's been an hour and a bit, we're now breaking the trend and looking like we want to go higher. So yeah, it's got me thinking a little bit, but we did empty out the clip. Like I said, we have less than half of our position on. So I think putting on something else right here and then seeing if we fade into the close might be something. And then here it is right now. So let me just make sure, if you had to put 10K into one stock, remember what we're talking about, before earnings, right here. And the reason why, the reason why I chose before earnings is obviously after earnings, we're going to know the results. So that doesn't make any sense. But they all have similar expected moves. So you're going for Salesforce, which is customer relations management, CRM. We sort of know that. That's sort of the AI, Agent 1, can they get going there? Agent Force. AEO, the retail side of things, ASANA, big data. And then C3 AI, I mean, a pure play that none of us really knows anything about. I'm going to say CRM. Actually, no, I'm going to go.
What do you mean we know nothing about C3 AI?
I'm going to figure this out. I'm not going to vote quite yet. I'm going to wait before I vote. I'm going to think about what I want to do right there. But get your votes in, and let's go over to Adara and find out what she's talking about.
I just wanted to mention that Olema, I'm not seeing anything like breaking news about this stock, but I did look into it, and yesterday they had an announcement with Pfizer. So I want to clarify, I think this news actually might be from yesterday morning. This was pre-market yesterday, so well over 24 hours ago now, but the company did announce a trial agreement with Pfizer for evaluating the safety of a specific drug combination. Again, with OLMA, I want to mention I'm not quite sure what that move was right here or what you guys might have heard in your ear. I checked on social media. The last mention was 40 minutes ago. And that was as of when I pulled this up, which was maybe 4 to 5 minutes ago. So it's been a while. Back to you.
Thanks for that update there. You know what? I got to admit, Sean, I completely resent the notion that nobody around here knows what C3AI does. I mean, it's very clear that some people who've done their research can know specifically that C3.ai Inc. is an enterprise artificial intelligence company, and the company provides software as a service applications that enable customers to rapidly develop, deploy, and operate large-scale enterprise AI applications across any infrastructure.
Right, so my bad.
And it provides solutions under 3 divisions, namely the C3AI platform, yada, yada, yada. And as a matter of fact, I clearly was not reading that like some kind of a bot. It's something that I've known, for a long time as a non-C3AI shareholder.
I was going to say they see threes with AI. That was going to be my joke there because I also did not know what they did.
Wow.
No, but like, does anyone have a good idea of that, of what they do after I just read that?
Yeah, Joe did for sure. Joe's actually writing a book on what C3AI does as we speak right now. He's clarifying and everything. And then we're going to do some infographics. We're moments away from switching back over to these desks, by the way. Switching not back over
I don't know
to
about
new
moments.
Yeah, we are moments away, moments away.
5 minutes from now.
Yeah, not today, not today.
No,
maybe I over-promised that one. I would say,
I don't think it's today.
Mark, is it unbelievable that these desks may be functional next week? That is not unbelievable. Yeah, that is not unbelievable. Okay.
Oh, you should have done the Jordy LaForge or the Scotty.
But we're excited. Make sure you guys just keep on joining us because
under promise, over deliver.
It's going to be. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When I said momentarily, I realized that you thought maybe I thought like 5 minutes, but that doesn't look. It's not quite ready. Well, I mean, we would need power and internet.
Well, there's like one monitor on that desk.
Beta Pro by Global X has just launched 6 new triple levered ETFs offering 3x bull, 3x bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. And even better, man, I mean, I heard Joe talking about this. He's excited. They're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st. These ETFs employ currency hedging as well to neutralize U.S. dollar exposure. Actually, myself and Fabian had a discussion about this last night that more accurately reflects what you're trying to trade, right, and capture. So if you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out Beta Pro 3X Daily and scan that QR code there and sign up right now for Trader TV Live research as well. This goes straight to your inbox. I thought I was doing a good job there. I know it was a mistake hit there by accident, but okay, so what I was thinking about when I'm using Asana and all those kind of things, right? This is very, very similar. It's workflow management, collaboration, all that kind of stuff, right? So they're very similar to Monday right here, right? So Monday.com, something very, very similar. This is what happened on Monday's earnings. Whoops. Another company that's very, very similar to them, Team Atlassian. We can see what's happened to their earnings call as well. Whoops, downside there for Team coming through. ServiceNow and Salesforce, they're all
None of these charts look all that great, though.
I know, that's why I'm trying, come on, I'm trying to figure this out. A downside move as well right now. So right into here, if I had to put 10K in any name, it would not be Asana. I have made up my mind, and I am making the call right now. I am going with, if you're ever shopping at malls, if you are walking around, if you have teens, if you have dollars to spend, you potentially are not spending them here, but I am. It's American Eagle Outfitter. 8%.
That's
oh
what
no!
I voted for.
Oh no! All of that, and it gets slapped up right now. And the thing is that we've been looking at Guess, Gap, different names like that. I think there's a good opportunity there, and AEO does have a short float. So if I put 10K,
well, that's the thing.
Although for me 10K is a lot, honestly, to put into something for pre-earnings. I only do that on stocks like Marvell.
25% short float, bro.
Exactly.
That's all you need.
This is what I'm trying to say.
That's all you need.
So bearing the lead a little bit here, but yeah, 25%. So you also picked AEO?
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, because like here's the thing. I liked CRM a couple weeks ago.
They have great genes.
At $230, but I don't know that that's the one I picked going into earnings when it's already made the 10% bounce off the low. Like that's not the cup of tea. But 25% show float's all I need, and then they could always just announce more stuff with Sydney Sweeney. Like there's a few paths to some non-fundamental upside. Is the way I want to think about it. For AEO. Non-fundamental upside, and then throw on top of that, this is breaking out. So the continuation could be absolutely gorgeous here. It's upward trending above both major moving averages. It's upward trending. And it's already done the nice little rounded bottom pattern or whatever we're calling that technically. You can see what it is. It's made a low and it's on the other side of things there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Overall C3, and the best thing about it is you get to watch it all live with us in the aftermarket, see what the numbers are, and then how it reacts regardless of what the data or the numbers tell us. Let's go back to the desk. Adara has something for us.
Yeah, I have a couple things I want to share here with you guys. Hims and Hers Health, thank you to someone in the chat for mentioning this with me. I looked into a story for this all day, couldn't find one. Now, though, about an hour ago, we finally get the catalyst coming out, and it looks like I'm unclear when this happened. I tried to find more details. All I found was one article from investing.com that came out about an hour ago. But apparently, a federal judge dismissed Eli Lilly's lawsuit against Willow Health. Now, Willow Health obviously is not Hims and Hers, but they are a telehealth provider similar to Hims and Hers. So the implication of this catalyst is that, obviously a good sign that the judge ruled in favor of these telehealth companies. I guess it's seen as a good catalyst there for HIMS. Now, I also want to mention here LCFY, Locify popping pretty intensely right now. I'm not seeing any new breaking news on this, but before the open, they did announce here that their AI sales team pilot campaign generated a whole, apparently 130, quote, warm leads and 18 meetings. So I guess positive response to their AI sales team pilot campaign for LCFY. Last but not least, AEO. If you guys like content related to AEO and the non-fundamental catalyst, as Neil mentioned there, I do have a whole, I guess, thread, for lack of a better term, on X covering U.S. President Donald Trump's post about certain public companies, including the AEO saga. So you can check this out on X at TTV Research. I have another AEO-related post as well that I just shared yesterday involving its previous campaigns with celebrities like Sydney Sweeney. Back to you.
So someone asked in the chat, did Sydney Sweeney get any stock? I checked, and at least according to what I found, she didn't get any stock.
Ain't want shit.
You gotta get. You want to
Ain't want no stocks.
No, you gotta just get a little bit in stock. You never really know.
I mean, I take all deals in stocks.
Well,
honestly. I was talking with Raheem about that. It's like sometimes if you get these little warrants,
yeah,
like I don't know what they could offer her.
Well, the advantage, of course, being, let's be real, she's got a day job that makes a bunch of money for her, so it's different to take that upside in some shares. Obviously,
it's like you asked Joe, like if you were to win, I heard this conversation on the midday show. If you were won the Powerball and you could win, say $1 billion, right? But that, whatever it is in the States, I don't know. Maybe we'll use something more realistic. Let's just say it was like $500 million, okay? But that gets paid out over 30 years or whatever it is, so equaling X amount per year. Right, so you could take that, so let's just say, I don't know what that number is. It's a $3 million a year or whatever,
make it up.
In perpetuity. Or instead of that $500 billion vesting, you could take right now. You could take the lump sum of like, let's just say 250. Is that reasonable? The lump sum is generally half of what.
I don't know what I'm not sure exactly, but here's the point. The reason. So you always take the lump sum. But that being said, the reason why
Joe went oppo of that.
The reason why people say you shouldn't take the lump sum is not that. Statistically speaking, it should make sense to take the lump sum, which it does. However, it's what actually happens to most people that take the lump sum because of the spending, right? It's like you're not smart with that lump sum, and then end up just not really investing and spending too much of it, and therefore controlling yourself by taking the incremental payments, kind of like what Allen Iverson's money people did.
Yeah, Bobby Bonilla.
Lots of them where they just like, this is what you're going to do because we know you're going to spend too much. But I take the lump sum, but I understand why it makes sense for most people. You'd probably end up in a better spot if you didn't, because ultimately, it's easy. Everyone wants a little bit piece of this and that. Next thing you know, you're buying this house and that island and this island.
I was going to say to live, I'll take the lump sum right now because I'm just going to live basically like a boss starting immediately.
Yeah.
It's like if someone drops $250 in my account right now,
crazy.
Things are changing at that point, and I'm going to start living my life now. Someone drops $3 million in there, well, things would still change. But at the end of the day, it's not the same. I don't lose my mind.
You're not just immediately.
It's literally bawling out like crazy time in the Katina household.
Take a helicopter down to watch the Bills play.
Yeah, man. Taking a helicopter, I mean, yeah. Literally. Yeah.
Well, okay, first of all,
we'll buy a place in Buffalo.
I don't want to get a helicopter. I don't like helicopters. You know what?
I never actually.
I don't like helicopters. They spook
I don't think I've been in a helicopter.
They spook me. I would never.
How come I don't know that answer? Anyways.
They spook
me. You have your mic on?
We need a mic for Joe.
Irrelevant.
Mic
then.
on. Come on. We can't hear you, Joe.
Here we go. Here comes Joe.
We go.
Here comes Joe. Oh, well, wait. He's gonna get his mic on. But yeah. Anyway. Okay, let's go.
So if you win the $1.3 billion on the Powerball over 30 years, that's still $43 million a year. So I'm gonna ride
but
that 30
they don't divide it.
out.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works there, Mr. Matt.
Is not how? What do you mean? Over 30 years, they're gonna divide the $1.3 billion?
No, they don't. No, they see. This is what I'm saying. This is.
It doesn't work like that.
Cut
the mic. Cut the mic.
Otherwise, if they did do it that way,
we have someone vet our guests.
Everybody would take it.
No, we're just playing around with you, Joe. No, what they give you, so they discount it. They just don't divide it up and give it to you per year.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they would say like you get 1.4 billion now over time, or 300 million now. See what I'm saying?
But how much am I getting over time per year?
Well, then you have to use whatever you do with the 300 million. You don't get a choice. You get one or the other, as far as I know.
But the 1.3 billion I get over 30 years.
No.
No, you get one of the. You either get a.
I don't know what interest rate they use. There, the guy just said 65. Someone said 65% they give out. I don't know if that's right.
I just Don Sharifo. First of all, Open just got above 5 again. I'm slapped the. Where's my fail key? There he goes. It keeps going above 5. Doesn't want to close underneath the 5 level.
I think the main idea with that discussion is basically, do you want the money now or later? And I just think like, if you were younger or something like that, you would choose
age matters.
Maybe to get the lump sum divided up.
Oh, this is uncalled for.
What?
Nick Clemenzi. Sean should definitely not take the full 250 mil, as his decision making to buy a place in Buffalo is very suspect. Well, I'm
thinking about I could buy a place in Buffalo for probably 50 G's. Oh, hold on a second.
I mean, we're going to crap on Buffalo now?
Yeah.
We got issues with Buffalo now? Because I want to...
That is mine, by the way.
I know. I'm not wearing a jersey. I didn't bring my jersey or anything like that. I would, if I was in my house right now, I would throw on one of my like 5 or 6 Buffalo Bills jerseys and then just have it on for the rest of the show. Maybe I'd throw on the Lee Evans just to keep it real. I don't know,
but what would most people do?
No, I mean, like, what would most people do? I don't know. I think taking the lump sum makes a ton of sense. It is life changing, but you got to be smart with it, right? Like invest.
I mean, I see what Joe is saying. Do they just say, okay, you won 1.5 billion, we'll just divide that by? But I don't know. What do they use the 30 years?
My understanding for lump sums and lotteries, they don't give you that benefit. It's always discounted. But anyways,
at some point,
paint over those jerseys. Hey, to each own.
I already own the Green Bay Packers. I'm already an owner of an NFL franchise.
Yeah, because they're one of the few that you can actually.
The only, not one of.
Well, pro sports, there's a couple of others, but in football, that's the only one.
Power Hour.
Which is, I'm actually really surprised that they didn't phone me about Micah Parsons, but I would assume that it was such an obvious play.
I think you're happy with it.
Yeah, that they were just like, you know what, this guy's going to like the decision of us grabbing Micah here.
Don't think anyone was objecting to that, except Cowboys fans.
Right there, or Vikings fans, or Bears fans, or Lions fans, for that extent. If you thought you were in Detroit and could actually beat Green Bay at some point, not this year. Okay, actually, that's week 1.
People are cold-blooded, man.
You know what? Detroit might win week 1 because Mike is not ready, but I think he's going to play.
Okay, first of all, before we go to it,
I do share a birthday with Patrick Mahomes, by the way.
You do, which is not cool because he's a Kansas City Chief.
Letting you know.
Cool C, there's no need to bring up old stuff. We don't need to bring up old stuff, all right?
What is he
That's
bringing
fine.
up? What's
the Cowboys beat the Bills, but, you know, this is the
At least they only beat them once, right?
No, they beat us twice. This is the year 2025. And what are the Dallas Cowboys going to do? They're going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, Neil and I are realistic, man. We're dealing with currents.
Right now. They're going to miss the playoffs.
That's a bold call,
Thomas,
Cotton.
The Lions, I don't think the Lions will win the division this year. That's just, I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm invested in Jamo in both of my fantasy leagues, so I hope he has a big year, and they're chasing some leads in the second half. But, you know, the Dallas Cowboys, shout out to them, but they're not winning.
I am taking this opportunity to not write the Detroit Lions obituary, but just to tell you that I'm going to get out, and there we go. I just got out some at 15 of Google. So Google's coming back up into the 200 period moving average right there. So yeah, like it's ramping again, maybe. As the futures are just chilling out here, Google right now is starting to think about getting on one again, so watch out. I'm going to take advantage of it because it's coming right into here, and we talked about the 200 period being something that we want to watch out for. So I'm going to take a shot right there by getting some more out on Google as we have now entered the hour of power. I'm going to check in on this poll just real quick time right here, just to see what's going on here. Now, 700 votes, not that many, first of all. Look, the only name that I actually own out of all of these is Salesforce. So, you know, I think Salesforce does have a great opportunity to get to the long side, but if you have not voted yet, please do so and get into the chat right now. And also, if you're part of this group, be part of it. I haven't, unfortunately, I have to refresh it. I'll just do it right now. How many people are watching? 4,500. So let's just give this a quick little look here and see what we're doing right now. Oh, now I got to push like this. Yo, Google wins. Yo, chill. Right there. Okay, so we'll see. We have 330. We need to get a couple more likes. See if we get up to 500. That would be very kind. Thank you so much for doing that. The futures could just start to go up to the upside right now. There goes Google. Oh, there, we're out. Oh no, I had another offer. Okay, we got out of Google there. Maybe I should ramp back in and get back in. So, see? I didn't check my blotter, and you want to talk sometimes about pending orders. Well, I already had that idea getting out in front of the 200 period moving average, and we did. So we got out once, and then we have another order there, and unfortunately that order was for the remainder of it because I was only going to get out of half. So half plus half equals 1. So we are now out of that trade. Okay, too bad. But anyways, Google, you know, my number one P&L today, obviously we don't have any errors on this name, just straight to the upside there. Google just got out at the 200 period moving average. Meant to hold a runner, but you know, we did not. We're too obsessed with AEO and CRM and ASANA and Monday and no bids on see, so this is what are we going to Adara?
I think so.
Okay, in a minute. Just no bids on Palantir right now, somebody just said, and you know, we identified that, and it was only down 1% when we talked about this at 2 o'clock, and just said that, hey, if the market wants to fall down, which it's, by the way, not doing, Palantir probably continues, right? And it's going by itself. And we said that if it breaks this level, remember? I said if it breaks 154.80, whatever that level was, which is 154.80, you'd be in trouble. Well, it broke 154.80, went down to 153.80. That's $1 right there. Should have been on it myself and wasn't. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, here, guys, take a look at our daily calendar for Thursday, September 4th, 2025. We have tons of earnings after the bell tomorrow, including Broadcom, Lululemon, and DocuSign. But we also have some economic data and a lot of company and industry events. This is something that I'll have on the calendar when it's a bit of a slower earnings season and when we actually have notable company events. And as we've seen even today with Coca-Cola, for example, moving during an industry event, and AMD making some announcements during an event here with Citigroup, these events can matter, guys. So with that in mind, tons of companies are going to be on watch at various industry events tomorrow, including Palo Alto Networks, SMCI, T-Mobile, Disney, Walmart. We have AT&T and Zscaler both at 2 events each. So lots to watch out for. If there are any market-moving news from any of these things, I'll certainly let you guys know. But it is worth noting all of these events are going to be happening, and definitely stay tuned and check this out on X at TTV Research. I also want to preview, Sean and I mentioned this on the market recap show, potential of an infographic covering how Apple stock tends to react during the week of its iPhone reveals. That is in the works, and it will be released ahead of that iPhone event on September 9th, next Tuesday. Back to you.
Yeah, like so you get, it's like every once a week we get something pretty big, and obviously I would make the argument that Broadcom is the biggest event this week, but I could be wrong about that. Everyone has their own opinions. But Broadcom on Thursday, and then Apple next week, and then the Fed after.
Yeah, I think Fed by far. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's no more important thing than the Fed. And I don't even.
91.
No, the percentage doesn't really matter. We know. I'm pretty sure.
Probably higher.
Oh, I mean, I could say whatever.
Up to 95.
Yeah, I was going to refresh it here for you as well, but I don't. For me, this 95 here, it's fine. What we're looking for is actually to see, you know, what the talk is about future cuts, right? And I think right now you're at 44% for 3 cuts by the time December happens. So 1 here, 1 here, right, which brings us right to there. So it's 53% chance that we get a cut in October as well, and then would give us that last 44% that we get yet another one. So we're going to go from where we are right now, 425 to 5, all the way down to 350 to 475. So that's what we're trying to get right now. So, you know, the chances that we stay the same between, this is the overnight lending rate, so 425 to 450, that's virtually nothing. So we are going to get that one cut. The reason why I think it's important too is that you get Trump pounding the pavement right now and literally pounding the walls of the new Fed building saying we need to cut more. So if the jobs number, which is what, Friday? Is that what was on the board there? When that comes through, or then Friday after, that's going to be important because that will try to guide the way for, you know, reasons. I mean, all we're hearing is proper from the Fed, right? Is that data is going to determine their decisions. So was today JOLTS or whatever? I don't think that
today was JOLTS. But
numbers have come out relatively as expected, and
no
if there's no shocks, good word. If there's no shocks to the system, then that 95% will play, right? And we won't get a cut there. But for me, it's the talk afterwards. It's the question and answer period. We've literally seen the number come out at 2 o'clock and stagnant. Pretty much do nothing. It can go up, you know, 50 handles, right back down 50 handles and back. And at the end of the day, you wait for that 2:30 moment where he steps on the podium and Steve Leisman or Sharif or Adara asks him questions. And then, you know, at that point, you get the answers that you're looking for, right? So that's
because that's where he has a chance to surprise everybody, right? Like you're not.
Well, you hear their opinions.
Yeah, we're at the point now where the Fed is, for the lack of a better term, it's boring around rate decisions, and maybe that changes. Certainly, people are going to be watching the bond market to see how yields are doing at that
boring,
moment.
right? And unless you get like, when's the last time we had a surprise cut? Like, there's been back in the day when Neil and I were trading, and all of a sudden it's like, what the hell just happened? And then the market's going insane, and you just hear, interest rate just cut 50 basis points out of nowhere. I don't remember the last time that ever happened.
I remember one time, and this is not, it wasn't the U.S.,
ChatGPT.
but I was trading a dual-listed U.S.-Canadian stock, right? And Canada just added, like, I knew there was a rate decision in Canada that day, but I was like, yeah, whatever, nothing gonna happen. And then it was years ago, and then all of a sudden I'm in the stock, and just because anything that's clearly like the USD CAD went nuts, and like my stock was doing like this, and all of a sudden it was just crazy. I was like insta stopped out. I'm like, 10 o'clock. You Bank of Canada did move,
financial crisis.
And then you're just like, you've got to be kidding me. But yeah, 2008, COVID.
It says the last surprise unscheduled Fed interest rate decisions was COVID.
Had to be COVID. Had to be COVID.
2020, March 3rd. Wow, they did it twice in 2 weeks. So they did March 3rd, they did 50 basis points, and then they did it overnight, Sunday night. They cut it by a hunch. They cut 100 basis points to put it to 0. And that's when they announced QE. March, 700 billion of QE. So that was crazy. And then it goes back to March again, March 15th for the financial crisis. Again, that was January 22nd for it was in Q1, January 22nd of 2008. So the most recent time, 5 years ago, and they did 150 basis points. They did 50 first, then 100 overnight on Sunday. Wow. Anyways, mounting concerns over global uncertainties. We already knew about that. And then, so March 15th, 2020.
It's been a minute. And
look that date up.
Sorry, everybody, it's not going to be 50. They're not going to do anything dirty like that.
Really? Hey, that's what you're calling, eh?
No, I don't think it'll be 50.
Okay.
He's not doing that. Like, here's, at the end of the day, they shouldn't be this way, but they're human beings. And there's absolutely no chance with all of that pressure that they would, because Trump wants 50, not 25. Clearly, when everyone's saying they're going to get to 25 and then the pressure is still mounting on it, it's because they want more and more and more. So I just can't see them leaning in and capitulating on on this move.
Okay, so I
just cannot see it happening. But
so here's the e-signal
calendar.
I
just can't see it.
For March 15th. So we had just tanked hard. So this is COVID right here. February 19th, we're at 237. We went all the way down to 171. And this is right here. So this is the day they announced it over the weekend. Then we come in the very next day and we're up quite nicely. Then we did fall back into the 20th there where we made those lows just before that surprise rate cut and then the bounce. So, if you do zoom in here, you'll see that you do get a nice bounce on that day. So we went from the lows there of Friday date of 170 all the way to closing of 182. So the Nasdaq there gained about 7 or 8% that day, the day after that announcement, and then wound up falling back. And again, I think that the falling back was due to the fact that we got so much bad data there. Like every single day there seemed like hundreds of thousands of more people suffering from COVID, and then it was like that whole vaccine thing. Anyways, we don't need to relook at that, but that was the last time that they surprised us.
Yeah, and that's sort of, there's a reason it's a surprise because something unexpected. I hate the term, using the term black swan, but like for lack of a better term, you get kind of a black swan type of event that causes that to happen. And
I wish the futures were doing more here.
We're not going to see anything like that.
And if anyone wants to know what ties Jerome was wearing during any of those meetings, you can always let me know because I do have the data somewhere. Shout out to the tie infographic.
Which color tie? I can tell you what color tie I'll be wearing on the Fed rate decision. Well, we don't wear ties here. No. If you wear a tie in this office, and Mark can even shake his head to this, as long as I've been around.
Mark probably got one cut off at one point.
Like the whole story was they would get cut off on the trading floor. And I was told that story when I came in. I never actually witnessed it happen to anybody. But when somebody shows up around, even in a suit, on our floor, when we had our floor.
What about Raheem?
Someone showed up in a suit, we're like, oh no, because your first stop was wedding, funeral, court date. So
that's what I saw when I first saw Joe. I was like, this guy's in the wrong spot.
It's like, Joe dressed to the nines.
Yeah, he dressed to the nines.
We wear collared shirts now because we're on air, but I mean,
Wow.
a few less,
I don't,
A few less jerseys.
Some people do.
I used to wear jerseys.
Yeah, we wore some jerseys. Oh yeah, that's right. I went to look on. I still got to get that Micah Parsons jersey. But I'm glad I didn't get it because he went from 11 to 1. And Matthew Golden was wearing 22 all preseason. He went to 0. So you got to watch out some of the rookies and newly traded guys changing it. I don't know why they're all doing stuff like that these days. Okay, so remember it used to be where wide receivers had to wear 80 something, right? And then all of a sudden
I have to admit I don't like that.
All the linemen and everything.
It's just a pain in the butt.
What, you'd rather just have them all
I'm an old head. I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I knew what position just by looking at a guy, and all of a sudden wide receivers wearing running back numbers, and it's just kind of.
I'm trying to figure out. What's going on here with some names. So I don't, today's
Apple's doing nothing.
I think we're having some great conversations here, and hit the like, hit the subscribe, and all that. But like, what are we supposed to do here? Maybe in hindsight, maybe shorting that move, but come on, that's not good enough. I still like Apple. I don't want to short Apple anyways. So I think the real play here is off the 200 period. So if it can come back into 236.90 or so, which you're not too far away, that could be a play there. Obviously, I'm on the Nasdaq. You can see that Neil's on Intel. So is there any sort of names? Oh, today we got an upgrade from Chipotle. So thank you so much, you in the chat there, NCB Trader. Thank you so much for asking that right there. We just said, looking for some ideas. Curly Lambeau, yeah, Curly Lambeau's number. Yeah, that was number 1. He was the last person. Good call there, Hertz Scrambler there. Jalen Hurts tomorrow night. All right, so... yeah, Chipotle today caught an upgrade, and I was just looking at this stock, and okay, let's go futures. I do have a bid here to get out a couple of cents lower to get out of another 10% of this trade. Whoa, Chipotle. There it is. Oh, no, that's right. I can't do it on this chart because we had the split. So I just want to check out CMG just real quick for everybody. And it's because it's at a level where if we go into a monthly chart or so, this has been a really super strong stock. You're going to see how much Chipotle's really excelled, right? And this was a name that came to market. Again, this is why IPOs, man. I mean, if you catch them right, you catch the good stocks, look at Palantir, Coinbase, there's lots of different names. Now, a lot of the names like a Coinbase came out with crazy valuations, so you got to watch out for those prices. But this is coming back into the 50-period moving average. It's coming right back into levels that we saw in 2023. And like I said, as more and more, hopefully, well, I'm hearing it around here, there's some parents on the hockey team there that they all work for major banks and they're getting asked to come back to work. I know there's a lot of people now that are getting asked to come back to work, and I think Chipotle benefits from that, right? Less people at home, less able to cook meals or whatever for your family during the day if you're not home. And I have not worked one day from home, so I don't know how that's
we worked
like.
One.
Not really. That was like a half day that we. It was a half day in the market.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Yeah,
so the closest we came was.
And the reason why is because wasn't it because we were doing a whole bunch of stuff around here? I think it was a big. It was recently, anyways. It was Adara was here.
I don't remember why we weren't in the office.
I think it was because we were taking this all apart.
That was the day.
If I remember correctly, what happened was that we're talking about that day on the half day for Black Friday. So what happened was I think they had to do some kind of renovation for the office. They needed us out of the office, so they used the opportunity for the complete day off on Thursday and the half day on Friday to get us out for those days. I remember we also had to leave right after the close. We could not do a recap on that Wednesday. And I remember Obi was very upset because he had to leave his screenshots or whatever. It was a whole thing, but that's what happened there.
I don't think I was there that day. That's the other thing.
Yeah, no.
Neil, you were not there. You were not there that day, and that's how I remember Obi being there trying to do a screen.
Gotcha.
Okay, so as I was saying, we had the only day we had done that is when we couldn't be here, right? So, anyways, what I was going to say about Chipotle was more people working from home now having to go back. So I was just thinking, like, when I look around Toronto, where some of the Chipotles are, they're obviously near major businesses, and when you're filling up literally 100-floor buildings full of people. It should benefit. So that's why I also like Starbucks better for that reason. So I like Starbucks better than Chipotle. And I think that, Brian Nickel over there. Oh, and by the way, Adara, there is a global matcha shortage. There's a global matcha crisis.
Really?
Look this, yeah. I mean, really, if I'm saying something, it's real,
We'll have
right?
to look into this.
Yeah, look into it. Global matcha crisis right now. And what's happened is there's a lot of shitty matcha coming from China and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's some gross matcha out there.
Yeah, exactly. So right now you got to look into that. But anyways,
Thankfully, I'm not into it.
Maybe infographic time.
I don't have to worry.
But I was my wife was talking about that because the kids like matcha. I don't mind matcha now. So, anyways, global matcha crisis. There, invest in I don't know which company.
I wouldn't know.
It'll be matcha.
No clue.
You like
No
matcha,
clue.
Fabian? Probably not.
Just
all right,
invest,
all right.
just invest in
Ooh, the
AEO.
matcha ice cream.
I still can't believe it's like it is overwhelmingly CRM. We're all very boring, apparently. If you had to pick 10 grand into one stock before earnings tonight, which are you picking? CRM has to be, and don't get me wrong, it's the only one of these stocks, the 4 stocks that I actually own personally. So it feels like the lazy answer because everyone knows CRM and has a good, maybe a better feel for it. But C3.
Matcha do about nothing. That's hilarious. See, this is the thing why you guys got to get into the chat, man. This
Matcha do about nothing.
This is the quote of the day. I do not text matcha do about nothing. That's hilarious. So much ado about nothing. All right, yeah, good riddance to matcha, says S-Boy. Get out of here, matcha.
Get it, AEO.
How dare you give people a tea that you may or may not like? Matcha. All right, Dave's. Okay, here we go, Dave. This is a new segment, man. I mean, I feel like this is always
Dumb
my
trade of the
segment.
day.
Sean's dumb trade of the day, but here it is. Dave's dumb trade of the day. ASANA. I like ASANA. We talked about that. I mean, Steam Room versus ASANA. Swing to 17. Thanks for the hippie tea. There it is. Yeah, you're welcome, man. The more you know. There it is. Rainbow emoji. So you're welcome. I mean, that's what we're here for, to give you useless stats. And that was just another one there about matcha. But okay, swing to 17. So you want to have a quick look at what ASANA looks like there, swinging to 17. So remember, if you're taking a trade, the implied move here, Dave's crazy trade of the day,
Because he's asking, that's asking 21%.
I think this is his idea, yeah. So 16%, that's what I was doing. So you did the math already?
20-something, I don't know. I did not
All right,
math.
go for it. I mean, the thing is that,
$20 on.
what was the names, what were the
like
names that we had seen go crazy? We
22%,
saw...
22%, let's call it. Something like
Get it exact, Neil. We saw MDB go nuts.
Mongo's done it.
We saw Snowflake go crazy, both up 30+% day after.
Affirm, well, it didn't hold the earning, but it doesn't matter. If you're swing trading, it doesn't have to hold it. It just has to get there.
Yeah, but what I was sort of assuming is that it has to extend through its implied move, right? Because you said it's 22%.
Yeah, so
if you're going to buy 17s, what does that look like on the daily chart? Oh boy, yeah, you are looking for quite the move here, but I think that's the right area. That's where I have the two. I mean, why did you pick that, Dave? Is that the 200 period moving average? I mean, I think that's
that is
good,
the 200 period. Yeah.
Yeah. I just is that why he chose it? But anyways, that would be a great call. So I think you're probably in the right space. So what Dave? What options are you taking for that? Like, because you just said, did you say 10K? No, he's not putting in 10K, of course. But I'm just wondering, would that be weekly options? Are you expecting that to happen in 2 days? I think that's probably the best way to play it. But again, I don't know. Just trying to give people an idea for options there today. You know what broke out today? Actually, shout out to my pink trading friends there. I was trying to look at this thing at $12, just going back and forth a little bit there, but Fannie Mae right now, yeah. Is there news today?
No, there was, yeah, like 5%.
Yeah, well, it's up 6%, and it's breaking out. So I was just going to give that idea to everybody. This is, again, one of Donald Trump's ideas to bring Fannie Mae back and Freddie Mac, so FMCC, FNMA right there. This was probably one of the easier. We have a couple guys around here that are on this trade. Donald Trump has been talking about, bringing some money back for the Treasury via mortgages and releasing Fannie Mae back into the free market. So that breaking through $2 right there, this is when Trump came through, and you could see it just really started to go, and right there. So congratulations. I had a couple people sending me notes today telling me that it was breaking through 12. So there it goes, and that's what sort of got me looking at it. But Fannie Mae today up 7%. Did you find a new specific story, or?
No, it's just that they're looking into selling 5% of it. But that's not necessarily new news. But that's been ongoing. Like they want to take it private, but now they might sell a 5% stake there for sure. And BTW asked about CRM. And look, the CRM's reporting tonight, it hasn't been going very well for them. Let's be real. But what you do have going for you on, what you do have going for you on Salesforce, I can just zoom out here, is it's been triple bottom. And the good news is it already bounced 10% into the 50 period, which has been big resistance recently. So I'm holding. I mean, I bought 230s here into earnings. And the plan was always to hold, but I'm 100%. I have an offer out in front of 270. I want to take some profit, and I'll have a prayer offer in front of, prayer offer is not the right way to say it, but like call it like a stink offer in front of the 200 period moving average that I think is much less likely to get filled in an upward move, but they're out there just in case, because you learn your lesson when you see what happened with
8%.
Viking. Viking Therapeutics was at like $40, dropped the release on their oral drug with earnings and went 40 to 60 to 30 and closed at like 25. And the 260 was if you didn't have an order out in that 5 minutes that it happened, then you just lost all your profits as the stock basically gave you a 50% return. Now that's not going to happen with CRM because it doesn't move like that. The implied move on this one was 8.
8. That's right.
Yeah, you just said 8.
7.8.
So really, like that's almost perfectly priced to give you a push into that 70 range. If it does the expected move, then you get some out in front of 70. If it exceeds it, I think you get into the next resistance at 290. Just have a plan of action. Like all these stocks look the same. Like the reason I picked AEO, which I'm assuming everybody else that voted for AEO is just like, okay, well, Sydney Swinney and short float. So I think it has the best chance to go meme crazy out of all of these names that are reporting here tonight. And that's sometimes all that you really look for. Like what's that thing that can be better than maybe the fundamental story? And I think the hype that could get around this, if it gets going, makes a lot of sense to me, especially with that big short float.
I thought it was interesting just to do the question because I think what it does is it just shows, again, who our audience is, and they're just conservative.
I think that's a very conservative.
Put 10K into one stock before earnings. So if you're a gambler, then you do not choose CRM. You would choose probably ASANA or AEO, right? Or even C3AO.
Yeah.
I think it just shows that right now there's a lot of uncertainty in the whole market.
If you framed that poll in another way and said, of these 4 names, which one is the least likely to lose double digits tomorrow, the answer would have been CRM.
Right,
so that's
choice.
I think that's everyone just basically ended up picking the one that's not going to lose. They think we'll not lose the most instead of, I kind of approached it the other way. What's the one that could win the most? And flat out, that's it. I think it's AEO, no questions asked. And then, look, Figma reports tonight as well, but that's been a dumpster fire since earnings. If this earnings season has really signaled, these most recent IPOs, I should say, have signaled the top in the market. Like the difference between CoreWeave and Circle to now bullish and Figma, like BLS, there's bullish. It'll just show you like you get 5 minutes of fame and then you're just trending back lower and the 5 minutes are at the open on a lot of these, and Figma gets to report tonight. We'll see if they can reverse the trend, but it was great for a day and maybe a little bit of the second day. Ever since then, it's been trying to find its way. And sometimes this will happen, and you might need a good report out of this. It's all price discovery at this point on Figma. No one really knows how to value some of the recent IPOs, and this has signaled a bit of a market top. We are going to get Klarna in this environment. Good luck to them, because they're supposed to come out next week into a somewhat cooling IPO market. Let's just put it that way.
I'd say so.
We got another super chat.
I'd be a little
we missed Yella.
I just
we missed
go ahead.
Yeah, it was Yalla Studio, and we got another one from Longness. Any idea when the bottom might possibly happen in RKL, Rocket Lab, and Webull? I can tell you off the top of my head, at this point, Webull just feels like it's headed back down to that 10-11 range because we lost the 50 period. I know because I own it and we've looked at it. We talked about it this morning. Rocket Lab, I'd have to take a look. I have not looked at Rocket Lab. Long this, are you both asking about RKLB? Well, interesting coincidence. My cost basis is Rocket Lab, RKLB at 650-ish. Is today's pullback a buy? I have not looked at them. Like the reason I could answer off the top of my head on Webull, because we've looked at the chart, I own the stock, it's just a little bit easier. Rocket Lab, well, it's at the 50 period. I just feel like a lot of these names were all, I'm talking about the, let's just call it the space group. They were all very frothy and memey for a bit, like meme-ish. And you just got a bounce, a constructive bounce. And in one day, you're pulling back into what has been the support at the 50 period. The first time it tests, and I like the uptrend, yeah, for sure. The second time, not so much for me on this type of a name. I get a little bit more skittish the second time through because it's just, and it's the way that this is selling off today, down 11%, the first time I'm seeing it. Now, I put the, you have an 11% down day, and that's wait and see how it reacts in a couple of days here, especially when it already gave you the bounce. You already got the bounce off this level. And now you're retesting the 50 in a single day pullback. Like, what's this? Yeah, that's, I'd give it a couple of days on Rocket Lab. But with Webull, at least I know, where were the buyers before on Webull? Came to market, ran, absolutely tanked. It was just meme for a day or two, and then came in and based out. And this is why I say 10, because it told you 10. The stock told you 10. Whoever was buying down here told you $10. And now that it's on the other side of the coin, I think waiting for it to at least retest 10, 11 makes sense to me. Maybe it's a higher low. Maybe it ends up bouncing at $11 instead of 10. But when I see any kind of consolidation close, that's where I'm buying Webull again. After taking some profit in front of 17 instead of, wish I could tell you 18, but I got some in front of 17.
Some profits. All right, so I just want to quickly go over this trade because I've changed up my idea because it's getting a little long in the tooth here today. So I am not going to let this thing float up to the 200 period moving average anymore. If it was to have any sort of an aggressive move right now, I don't want to risk sort of what we've been doing here. So my stop, and it's a new one. If you can't find my stop, then you probably haven't been watching the show too much. But I put it in right here, 88.15. So I was just trying to break through right into this area. If we come up to here, I mean, I could maybe stop it out at, let's go 88.20. Again, now that I've sort of zoomed in there. So 88.21. And look, man, if someone's watching this and we used to have things like, oh, I don't really want to show some of my stuff. It's going to run my stuff. Go ahead, try. You know, you can run this up on the Nasdaq. I mean, if that winds up happening, then fine. But that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to take one more average in, 10 cents away from that price. So I'm going to go back into this name and just take an average, double up, not even double up the position, because right now I have 1 unit on, about 1.5 units. So I'll try to get to 2 units by the time that happens. So I'll average out here like 12s, 88, 12, something like that, where we've topped out right there. We'll try to take, oops, it's that one right there. We'll take a spot right here and see if we can get that short and then play it off of there. Real tight stops, because in 30 minutes, the market's closed, but in 20 minutes, we have these imbalances coming through. And these can definitely change what's been happening in the market, right? And so I'm not hearing any news or anything, and Adara's not like, hasn't said anything and is obviously not hearing anything either.
I wanted to clarify something.
Yeah, go. Because
we're just talking about Webull, and sometimes we talk about the levels and all this stuff without talking about the fundamentals, because I just mentioned in the chat and someone was like, oh, thank you for mentioning that. Don't forget the market is going 24/5 at some point next year. Like, you're going to get 24-hour trading in markets, and the way I see it, the companies that stand to benefit directly from that, I don't know that you want to wait till next year to buy some dips in them. I think you want to get out in front of that. So that's the reason why, you know, I'll like a Webull in front of $10, $11. That's, you know, it's a reason to hope that, you know, I don't hope for Robinhood to pull back, because I hope it prints for everybody out there. I don't own Robinhood, but like, if Robinhood does a drastic move down in the back half of this year, I'm going to find a place to buy it going into 24/5 next year. Because I think that's the kind of bounce that it's almost like it's too obvious. So don't wait for the markets to go 24/5 to try to get into these. I want to be buying dips in front of good levels. I'm not sure that now is the time in Robinhood, though, as that is looking a little bit weak. And no, there is, and you're right about this. Never, always, ever. Never, always, ever. A bit of a mouthful. There's already 24-hour trading on most major stocks, only options at market hours. That is true to an extent, but that is going to be vastly different from what is going to happen is the markets. Like right now, if you trade in the after hours, there's less liquidity, there's limited gateways. It's not the same market. It is going to effectively be the same market. Volumes will be different at different times of the day, but it is going to be the same market for all intents and purposes. Maybe not exactly 24. I think it's going to work out to more like 23.5 effectively, as opposed to 24, but it will be the same. It'll be the same market. And what that will do is, especially in the U.S. market, it's going to open up far more activity from overseas, I think. At least that's the theory. And I think that can be good for volumes. I think it's a reason why, like, you know, when the Miami Exchange, like, what's the IPO that nobody cared about? Did anybody care about the Miami Exchange IPO? Probably not. But it's doing a heck of a lot better than the bullish IPO. It's doing a heck of a lot better than the Figma IPO. No one cared about it. It's just a boring exchange that makes money every single time someone executes on their gateway. You know, they're in the Nasdaq and the NYSE and the NYC ARCA as well. And that's another business that will stand to benefit from market changes next year. Boring, yet clearly profitable. Adara?
Just want to let you guys know we now have our implied moves infographics here for these earnings names. You can get this on X at TTV Research with about half an hour of trading left to go. CRM, CRDO, American Outfitters, GitLab, ASANA, Hewlett Packard, PagerDuty, ChargePoint, C3AI, and the aforementioned Figma all reporting. There are some big expected moves here. Check this out on X at TTV Research. Right now, I do this before every major earnings report, so tomorrow we'll get one as well with Broadcom and Lululemon on watch. Again, definitely follow the account if you enjoy, I guess, timely calendar-related infographics and also just fun market analysis. Back to you.
All right, well, we're analyzing our TQQ position and noticing that it is doing that drift again, and we just have to be fine. It's not going to kill us one way or the other, but you know, we talked about that sort of drift happening, and it didn't really drift higher into the close today, but it looks like it's going to do it now. So we do take our last fill there, so we're short at 88, so it'll be a 20-cent hit. We do have that 2 units now, so it kind of does suck to take a 2-unit hit on 20 cents, but not the end of the world on this trade, but it is trying to get back up, and I'm just going to use that. It'll most likely fail. I don't want to say most likely, but I just don't want to hold it all the way. I don't want to give it 10 more cents. If that's a move that you guys are looking to do, then fine, but there it is. See, sometimes it's like you get stopped out there. Now I automatically think like now it's going to tank, right? But we can't really think about that. You can't get back on the same train. Sometimes if your trade breaks, then it breaks, right? I mean, so right there we'll slap it out and it goes upside. 20 cents worth of a hit. I mean, the most we were getting here was 95s. That was a good one. But again, we only getting out 5-10% on the way down, so it's not like it matters. 87.60 there or so. A look. You know, we could. I don't know, there's not enough time. I was going to say, if it does come back up here, just looking at this chart, we talked about some of these, like this was really, when we started the trade earlier, and see, there we go. That's why you get out. Like we just saved ourselves that 15 cents because we would have got blasted there as well. But this area, I think, is where we sort of lost it, tried to regain it and lost it again. So this is a much better look for a short in and around 88.50 than it probably was right there. But again, we just played off the afternoon range and the range broke higher. So we say c'est la vie to that trade and get stopped out of that one. So yuck on that, but that's okay. All right, just a quick little look at some of the other movements here today into the close. So Tesla looks like that was the one that, you know, there's me getting out of the short. And look, sometimes you just pick the wrong thing, right? I mean, we could have shorted that play there. Instead, we covered and just let it drip down. And you can see now Tesla's trying to get back going despite what this market is doing, which the TQs are still going a little bit higher. Did NVIDIA get back anywhere to Greensville today? No, still down that 0.65. I had mentioned earlier that I think this is a decent area to look at buying some NVIDIA, but when the market's up and this is down, I just think about what happens tomorrow if the market's down, right? Maybe down more. So you may want to wait to see for NVIDIA to sort of go oppo what the market's doing before you think about buying it. Make sure there are buyers in this name, but boom, that goes down. I do know that there's buyers in AMD now. I don't know if
it was stronger earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it was my number one trade, but yeah, it's still down.
That changed.
Yeah, so we lost it right there and should have gone short there, but instead just got out of the long and then it fell back in. So, the name that was strong, I guess, earlier was Palantir, but then we talked about that it was weaker than the market. Has that continued? It still finds a bottom where maybe it should have. So sometimes trading, like I know I just lost on the TQs, but a lot of it is looking at key levels. And Palantir, they're bouncing off 154, so we can see if there's a level on that tomorrow.
Just for master, it's like a Mastery 8102. If you keep it clean in the chat, then your message doesn't get blocked. But you are right. Lucid is crap. That's the term that we're. But that's not the term that you use, so it kind of got blocked. And I want to bring this up because someone just asked in the chat how many times is ChargePoint split. I believe they've only done one reverse split. Lucid did its first and did the predictable thing. That's now 2 days in a row to the downside. Maybe it's 3 tomorrow. Certainly at some point, maybe it catches a bid. Remember, this was a $2 stock. So in theory, like the dollar level would be $10, and sometimes these things just fall until they get to an obvious spot, gets cut in half, maybe you take a shot at it. But yeah, 2 days in a row now for Lucid after their reverse split. And it's not to say that all stocks go down after they reverse split, but it's the overwhelming pattern because you're not reverse splitting if things are going well. And if there's an example of that, I'm sure there is somewhere. I can't remember one of that happening. Intel just broke above VWAP, so I was in VWAP. I'm getting out of it. With only 20 minutes to go, I thought there would be something. There's a couple of names over 1 million shares on the early look imbalances. Key, BAC, Ford in there as well, but nothing too big. Walmart, 900,000 to sell on the early look. And the only reason that's spicy, I guess they have that event tomorrow, as Adara was mentioning, but Walmart at the high of the day. And it's been very, very quietly gaining. And every single day, just a little bit more than the last until it gets to 100. Feels like Walmart, once again, doesn't want to give you the 200 period moving average. But as we've seen some selling in tech, in some tech, it just feels like this name has been getting some strength going into it. So yeah, Walmart should be on our radars, I think, a little bit more. As Adara mentioned, there is an event tomorrow they will be at tomorrow, and it has been a beast. I know, Scott, in the chat, a bunch of you have been mentioning it all day long. But here's the thing. I know a lot of people have been mentioning Walmart, but I question, and it's not to call you out, but you're fantastic. I feel like this is one of those symbols no one puts $sign on in front. They just type WMT. So it never seems to show up when we do the stock visualizer. And then Sean and I go and we look at this and it's like, well, what's being put in the chat the most? And Walmart doesn't make the list because no one's putting $sign in front of the name. And I get it. You're typing quickly if you're in the chat or whatever it might be, but if you can, just always, and not just when we ask you to, at all times, if you're ever putting a symbol into the chat, like even here, Jay Dizzle, $sign Rocket Lab, because it gives us real-time information, which is valuable to the whole community, because then we can show you visually, so easy to see, hey, the entirety of our community, this is what's exciting. This is the name that's getting talked about. And we can do it in real time and we can refresh it, but we need your cooperation in that. Jump in the chat if you're not in it. Hit that subscribe right now. It's a subs only chat. Hit the like too while you're at it. Enjoy the show. It'll be a fun aftermarket show as well. Yeah, I'm wearing the opposite shirt. That's my teal one, then I'm wearing the red one today. Oh, and then make sure you type $sign. So just get in the habit. I know we can all get in that habit for sure. And there you go, hymns. Robinhood
socks. Yeah, Robinhood. We haven't looked at Robinhood in a while.
I got a shoe delivery today.
Is RNDY actually a stock, or is someone doing that for Randy?
On shoes.
Oh, you got a pair?
Yeah.
Nice.
Got the Cloud Monster 2s.
Nice. They've been okay. It's
$300.
It's on.
Stocks.
Never
stops. On. Yeah.
Is that New York?
Yeah, they're expensive. Those.
Oh, it is New York.
ONON. Yeah. I don't know.
That was Nasdaq.
Probably not worth what I paid, but whatever. I'm going to get some comfort in there, so we'll see how those feel. You guys like the On shoes? Oh, no, it's a flat bottom break? Okay, well, good thing I'm supporting the stock.
It has nothing to do with the shoes. The stock just could be a flat bottom break at 44 this week.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But
who
wears On shoes?
I don't know if people
I'm wearing Allbirds. I find the comfort level on those. I had to get a whole range of like more comfortable shoes after the Achilles thing. I just found like I was doing so much more walking, and even now, especially sometimes in the weather, like the soreness, you're getting older as well. But I need more
shoes are expensive, man. Crazy expensive.
Yeah, but all shoes have been expensive recently. That's the name of the game.
Everything's expensive nowadays.
You have to pay for quality, man.
Yeah, no, I have right now I'm wearing New Balance 550s here. They're just these ones for today.
New Balance is
pretty good.
They're winners.
I don't mind them. So
all my runners are in New Balance. Okay. For years now.
On is the Hoka killer. Yeah, I didn't go with the Hokas. I didn't really like the way those looked. We had that question this morning about SMCI, and someone said that they were putting in, I think it was 120 grand or something into SMCI. And the thing is that I explained my side of it. I was like, I don't mind that. I don't mind the play because technically you're at these levels, right? The thing is I was saying like, put some of it maybe and sprinkle it either in Dell or NVIDIA or something. And I know it's all chip related stuff, but SMCI is a little more volatile than the rest of them. And you just want to make sure, you know, you hate pushing that button, you know, especially if you're having to push it for an L, right? And I think that like that coming into play right there, if it does break, I can't recall who it was, and I apologize, but if you break 39 right there, it's just, that's this gap being filled. So you filled that gap now, so, you know, then you're looking at something a little lower. So I would just be very, very careful there with SMCI in that trade right there. All right, so are we still here? Yeah, still 55, so 25 there on AI. So with earnings coming tonight, I mean, it's going to be a big earnings show. Neil's going to be there with Adara. It's, what day is it today? Wednesday. I don't think there's a guest, so that's probably good. All right, C3 AI, 1670. We'll see what's coming in on that play again. I mean, this is another name that if they can somehow beat, you know, and surprise everybody, this has quite the runway. That gap fill to 22 would be pretty sweet. Now, I'm not going to make a call and say I think they're going to beat. I have no idea. I just, looking at this stock, does not look like it's worth taking a shot in there on AI. So that would be it to me. We talked about ASANA. AEO, they've had big run-ups. You know, the short float is involved in this as well. And to me, it's just when you're taking a stock, and I chose AEO, on that because again it's above the 200 period moving average. You got a little base right there of potentially something in and around that 12. I was going to take I'm going to potentially cancel this order on the TQs because we came all the way up. I was going to take a little bit around here just to see where we are on that, but AEO I think is just set up potentially for the best of the trade. So you know, watch out for that, taking out those highs there. It looks good to me. CRM is a falling knife, and you're gambling on all of these plays. But for me, like AEO. So I didn't take it, but I said 88.50. So I was thinking about doing that with a quick stop up here. But I don't know, man. It looks like, oh, the numbers. What just happened? It just flashed around there pretty quick.
But
I don't know.
45. It's not in balance.
No, it's not in balance. Is that?
I saw the
something
same
hitting
thing.
The market right there? I don't know what that was.
I saw 4 or 5 level twos charts up, and they all had the same like flash of volume.
What was up with that?
But it was at my first thought was, oh, is this 350 already? No, it's 345. Still nothing, but slightly growing imbalance on BAC. It was 1.7, now we're 2.1 million to the buy side. Key's still there for a million. Ford's imbalance is getting slightly larger at 1 million to the sell side. But as the market goes, yeah, trading traveling technician. I love that name.
Good one.
That's a good one. Broadcom picking up in volume you just mentioned. And it sort of is going into the close. And Broadcom reports on Thursday, and maybe not an individual name that a lot of people own it, but you own it anyways. Right? Because if you own the index and you own a bunch of Broadcom and you don't have to own an individual stock, this is one that's going to be a good barometer for the market. We don't need this to go bad for us on Thursday. That would not be good. That's my one concern. Is I want to see, and it's not necessarily. I'm at the point now where I don't care what the first 5 minutes are on earnings. I care more about like what does it look like at 4:30 and then overnight. It's mattered so much more. The initial move this earnings season has been like, yeah, who cares? Unless it gave you a dip buy that you were interested in buying, it's not telling us much of anything. Certainly seeing what happens like after the fact, especially so when we're going over some of these moves in the aftermarket tonight. Don't get too caught up on the initial reaction. Once you get the guide and a little bit more information and we get 10, 20, 30 minutes in and maybe some levels pick up or buyers step in there and then watch again in the pre-market tomorrow, then you get a better sense of how the money is going as opposed to that first algo move, which has been all but useless in predicting anything for the stock. So that's why you want to pay attention to all the information, including fundamentals and then where the stock decides to trade after the fact. And for Broadcom, come Friday morning, if this thing is under $280, I think we're in some trouble. But only if it does it in the aftermarket Thursday, it doesn't matter. But if we're down under 280 Friday morning, I think we're in trouble.
All right, yeah, nervous about Broadcom there as it's going to lead the whole market. Right now, we don't have too many imbalances that are going to be important to us. These are all from the morning still, so we'll wait for 350 to get the updated information. We had NEO, we had Verizon, we had AEG. So some of these names will be obviously different here. There was HIMS with a buy early on, so we're just not moments away, but we're waiting for it now into the close. I was just double checking like my Tesla trade because, you know, I was just thinking like, how can we make a trade tomorrow that makes any sense, right? And so Tesla right here just bounced pretty nicely again off of this sort of pre-market level. Now we didn't hold it earlier, it's fine, but this 335, 337, let's just wait to see. Like I want to make another play like this, but I want to go hard. And we tried to go into here, trying to hold this level, but that didn't work, and we wound up losing. And eventually we caught the bottom, just kind of off some of these bottom wicks, and just trying to find a little bit of size down here where we could find some support. Now, when you're looking at a level 2, it's very hard to see size. No one's going to post it up. So you got to try to find out where there could have been some support and resistance previously. Well, the whole last hour there yesterday for Tesla held this area. So definitely a spot that we must be concerned with. So I was just looking here the whole last hour here today, and now we're starting to go up. So a little different, although we did have a move up there into the close for Tesla. But this area here, 335. That to me is looking like, you know, not a horrible spot that we need to be too concerned with here on Tesla for tomorrow. So if there is a drop down on Tesla, that'll be something that we'll look at again one more time. I'm, you know, with only a minute left, never a great idea to be in the TQs or anything at this time because we have no idea where these imbalances are coming out, but yet I'm in it. So I'm just trying against that level, and it looks like we're going to get busted out very, very soon. That's 88.66. So if it breaks that view up, which right now, you know, it's looking more and more like it wants to do that. So 88, it might just break it immediately off the open, or off the interest imbalance information. So 88.67, if that comes in, we're going to get out of there. We're out of the money 5 cents. If I didn't like the trade, I would just get out. Let's just see where these imbalances are coming through. The Nasdaq's had a nice little recovery. I could see someone selling it off of VWAP, but this is just a trade technically right now. So with 15 seconds left, we'll see if it works or not. Hopefully, when we get blasted out to the upside, we get a decent fill because right now there's not too much wiggle room. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. And there it goes. So, okay, looks like we got 65.
NVIDIA.
All right, not a bad price.
NVIDIA, 3.5 million to the buy side.
Yeah,
TLT, so that's the 20-year, 2.3 to the sell side. BAC came out. We expected a big number, 2 million. Ford, 2 million to the buy side. XP, 1.5 sell. Key, AMC, 1 million to sell. You don't see that very often. Microsoft, 900 million to the buy side. Intel, 900 million to the buy side. Lam, 800,000 to the buy side. So overall, it looks like 2.7 billion. Would have thought maybe a little bigger than that. And then the Nasdaq, 1.5 billion to the buy side. Mag 7, 800 million of imbalances. So it is a strong. Well, it's a strong close for now, but we got some earnings aftermarket that could certainly change things. Hopefully, I don't know that CRM, C3AI, ASANA, these aren't, outside of CRM, these aren't names that are going to move the market in a general sense. I think that's what Thursday is for with Broadcom, but certainly it'll give us an idea about sentiment at least. It's just weird to see AMC. Like, when was the last time we had AMC?
They don't report.
I mean, $1 million to sell isn't that much, but when was the last time we even talked about this stock? Where is this thing? I'm just out of morbid curiosity. I'm curious as to what the price is. $2.70. It's not even that good.
Yeah, we don't even know the price.
Oh, this stock. Yeah. So setting an alert for like 250 is going to make some sense on this. AMC loses 250. That's a short you want to be around for, it looks like. But 1 million sell imbalance when it's done 7 million would be interesting, but it's not moving, so forget all about that. NVIDIA was the bigger mover. 3.5 million is pretty good for NVIDIA, but it gave you 50, 60 cents and then pulled right back in. Remember, with imbalances, you do usually see a flip or a pair off at 355. So anything buy side likely to shrink going into 355 or simply pair off altogether. And you're already seeing a little bit, 10% paired off, as TLT just got bigger. Went from 2 million to 3 million to the sell side.
Treasury, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
I did want to look.
Didn't even move 1 cent.
Over a little bit low. All right, so, you know, we had this discussion here about
the market being open 24 hours. Well, I got something for you. There already are lots of markets open 24 hours. That's the crypto market, of course. And it doesn't really affect anything charting wise or anything like that. You know, the fact that it's open 24 hours, I'm not super excited about it, but at the end of the day, it's going to give you more opportunity to trade some of the global news, which I think is what a lot of traders are looking to do, right? And it's like those global impacts when you get an announcement, you get, unfortunately, if there is ever kind of a wartime feel or whatever like that, you know, trading 24 hours gives a big advantage to traders at that point as well, to be able to execute against your own portfolio or, you know, make decisions intraday that now includes overnight. So I think that's definitely something to look forward to. Just as far as that is concerned, I think it hurts. I think it hurts day trading a little bit, but you know we'll talk about that because right now you have a quite clear open and close, and I think there's liquidity events around there that there's a lot of traders make a lot of money on, so those will be gone. 273 right here. I've already talked about this, so shout out to the army that's out there on Ripple, but I like those levels right there to buy some Ripple. We did have Solana coming in right there. I just want to look at this one on Coinbase. So yeah, okay, good. This looks like it's breaking out. Now we were able to buy some at 200. It's not like it's a huge trade or anything, but this could get going back there to the upside, looking pretty healthy. Nowhere near its all-time highs. We've seen Bitcoin touch it and fade. We saw Ethereum touch it and fade. I don't know what Ripple's is. I think it's a little bit higher, maybe 360, 370 on that one. So we still have a little bit of ways to go on that. But Solana could be one of the next ones. And then my boy over here, Cardano, against the US dollar, nowhere near. It's been, if we go into here, into, I don't know, monthly chart, yeah, there it is right there. So you're not even nowhere close. I mean, this started in April of 21. Obviously, this Cardano's been around for much longer than that, but $2.80, $3 the high. Yeah, you're only at 84 cents. So on a monthly chart, I mean, who knows what this looks like on a monthly? I don't chart.
Maybe not Coinbase.
But yeah, this is against the US dollar. Yeah, to go back into time, yeah. But anyways, I like this. I like a lot of these names, but that's just another example there, as some of us are freaking out a little bit about 24-hour trading, but it's still something that happens right here in many different spots.
100%, but something that's possibly changing a little bit for everybody because over Trade the Pool, they got something for you. They're changing the nature of the game because if you thought you were going to grow or wanted to grow as a trader, you thought you had to risk more. Logical sense. That's how it used to be. Trade the Pool's changing that, everybody. It's a new revolution in stock trading. You don't need a large deposit. Trade the Pool is built for any trader who wants to grow without putting everything on the line. Just a small skin in the game and you're trading with real capital. So here's how it works. You pay a one-time evaluation fee starting at $47, and that's your total risk. Boom. From there, you trade real shares, no CFDs, using company capital. Head to tradethepool.com or scan the QR code you see on the screen, and we are going to welcome them in October.
The 14th.
We're going to have, is it 13th or 14th? It doesn't really matter.
It is the 14th is what I recall.
So Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes, we'll see.
We separated different. We celebrated different Thanksgiving than our friends in the U.S. Although for us, we of course observe. On the show here, we observe the U.S. Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Because the U.S. markets are the more important ones. With 4 minutes to go, just very quickly.
That'd be hilarious if they came here and we weren't open.
That'd be jokes.
Would not be hilarious.
But a lot of different bunch of lunch places and stuff won't be open because it'll be a holiday.
Yeah, I think we'd be okay.
We'll find somewhere to be able to go.
We'll see if Mitch wants to take us out to lunch.
CRM did make a new high of the day.
Shout out, Mitch.
Going into the close. So CRM reports, C3AI, ASANA reports. We've talked AEO, of course, and a few other names as well. Figma is going to be another one that we'll get into after the bell. But a little bit of a reversal at 55 for this name in particular, up 2 points today. Better than the overall market for Salesforce, but that has not been true at more or less any point this year. Call a spade a spade. It's not been a good year at all for CRM. The AI revolution has left them waning, despite the fact that they continue to talk about how much of a game changer it is for them.
Yes, that's why I was waiting for that agent force.
Agent force. They have yet to execute on that. I believe in it. It's managed to hold a 230 bottom, so I bought some shares at 230 for the first time, and I don't remember the last time I bought CRM outside of a couple of weeks ago. It was a while. It was a long enough time ago that I don't remember. Let's put it that way. So 3 minutes to go in here till we get the close. And Roadrunner, any news on Alphabet? Yeah, they got a good antitrust ruling overnight. or yesterday, it was actually yesterday at the close. As far as anything in the last 5 minutes, not that I'm aware of. Alphabet's news absolutely is that they're not going to have to divest Chrome or Android. That was positive news for them. That's why they're the strongest Mag 7 name today. And yeah, there's nothing outside of that news that I'm aware of. Something else happened on Alphabet, then I don't know about it. Let's go to Adara because she just said there is breaking news.
She's got something.
So maybe
I have news actually. Google is slightly implicated, but I'm going to start with Apple because I think they're the bigger piece of this. Bloomberg reporting that apparently Apple is planning on rolling out an AI search feature in Siri next year to challenge OpenAI. Apparently, though, Apple and Google also struck a deal to test a Gemini model for the new Siri. So again, Apple's going to be apparently launching this AI search feature in Siri next year. And reportedly, again, according to Bloomberg, Apple and Google have struck a deal to test the Gemini model to be used in the new Siri. So unclear if that was the Google news that was being discussed in the Super Chat. This just came out, though. I was just seeing it circulate actually after the Super Chat came out. Back to you.
That's what they asked because
231 Google just went to. I mean, buy the best names, man. Google's going to go out at the high of the day, and that has to be great news for Apple. I haven't even looked at it yet. Let's just go see. Yeah, so I again, like, I'm a big fan of Apple and not just their products. Obviously, I think most of us are fans of their products, but of what to expect for this earnings report. I really do think that there could be something special, announcements or something. I don't know. Apple, I know can disappoint. That's for sure. We've talked about that many times here on the show, but I like it, and I think that this is an opportunity for them to finally, they're releasing a search tool to rival. I'm hearing it in my ear. Thanks, Adara. You're going to hear more about this from Neil and Adara as this market is closing right now, and we should be able to get a good countdown on for you with just a couple minutes left. I did take the TQQ's long side right there, so this is going to be a good trade. Let's just end it right here at 99. So we did spend a little bit of time there on the TQQs, and we reversed our trade short into the long and busted out higher there on a market on close imbalance. So far, so good. Again, thank you everybody for joining us one more time today. It's the Apple show. It's the Google show. Yesterday after hours, we got that judgment from decision from the judge that affected Apple and Google. And right now, you're getting more news right now as Apple. I'm getting excited about it. I like the stock there on Apple. So here goes the countdown. Thanks again for everybody joining us. This is also brought to you by VinFast. Click that or scan that QR code there, ticker VFS on the Nasdaq. Thanks, VinFast. 2 and 1. Lots of earnings coming again, guys. Thank you so much for your participation there in the chat. Thank you so much, Google and Apple, for doing what you have done today as well. Thanks to Adara for all the news. Neil, Joe, Sharif, everything. Andre, thank you so much for the great job over there on the board. Ramin and Fabian, killing it as usual. You see them in the background. Thanks to Rob and Mark and everybody as well. CoreWeave is going to acquire Open Pipe, not Fat Pipe, of course. Fat Pipe was that recent IPO as well. CoreWeave trying to go back up to the upside right here as well. Okay, we're out of here. It's earning times. I'm Sean. That's Neil. That's Adara. You're about to see them right now. Ciao for now.
Thank you very much. It is your market recap show brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex. And right off the bat, we're going to have Salesforce coming out, CRDO as well, but American Eagle at 405, GitLab, HPE, ASANA. So we have a heck of a lot going on. And you already have breaking. Okay, we already have news. Let's go right over to Adara.
Apparently, CoreWeave is going to be requiring that open pipe. Yeah, I think that might have been mentioned already, but I just saw this come through. CRM just reported. Apparently, it's record Q2 numbers. I have to go read through these quickly, though, Neil, if you don't mind. These numbers here for Salesforce, because I just have the actual report, which I will have to go through. But apparently, I think Sean just said tanking. Oh, yeah, it's tanking. So apparently, the revenue is up 10% year over year, $10.2 billion. Second quarter subscription and support revenue up 11% year over year. Current remaining performance obligation up 11% year over year. Yeah, I need to see how this all compares to estimates, because sometimes the estimates I have are not always accurate. But Neil, one estimate that could, or I guess one metric that could be big here, a 120% year over year increase in their data cloud and AI recurring revenue. So that is significant, 120% year over year increase. Does the market like it? Safe to say, no. No, not yet, but okay, I have a little bit more here. So it does look like they beat revenue, $10.2 billion versus $10.14 billion expected. Their outlook here for Q3, $10.24 to $10.29 billion, not seeing how that compares to estimates. Their Q3 EPS outlook, 1.6 to 1.62 per share there. Their adjusted EPS outlook for Q3, 2.84 to 2.86. Yeah, so it does look like they had a double beat. I finally got the Benzinga numbers there. So yeah, if I can pull this up, there we go. $2.91 here versus $2.78 expected beat for EPS. Sales 10.236 bill to 10.135 bill. How you doing?
It looks pretty good, but I don't like to leave it on that chart for a second, but we don't like that reaction. One thing I would say is this has been an earnings season where it has not necessarily mattered as much about that initial move. Like what we care about is what happens after the fact. So I kind of want to lean into that, and let's see how we react in the next couple of minutes here on CRM, because it's not doom and gloom. Again, I own the stock at $230, so I want it to go up, but it doesn't matter if and buts and candy and nuts and all that kind of good stuff. So I see Baggy Capital saying rest in peace, Salesforce, but unfortunately not looking too good. 230 is going to be a beacon key level to see if it can hold on to that. But it could be a little bit of trouble here for Salesforce. Just the first of many names that we have reporting here tonight.
Yeah, I'm not seeing this Credo. Okay, so Credo, the reason I put this on here is because this one can move like mad, and I've seen it do that in the past. That's the reason I include it on my earnings list. I'm not seeing the numbers yet, though. 405 are looking for AEO, GitLab, HPE, ASANA, PagerDuty, and ChargePoint's 410. So we're looking for PD, ASANA, HPE, GTLB, and AEO coming up here. Again, so Salesforce, I'm not seeing anything that I haven't read for you guys yet. Again, I think that 120% year-over-year increase in data, AI, and data cloud revenue, I think is super significant. We're going to have to wait and see how the market likes it. And I have their guidance now as compares to estimates. This might be where the issue is, Neil. So they're guiding Q3 adjusted earnings between $2.84 to $2.86 per share. That's the adjusted EPS guide. That is right exactly in line with estimates of $2.85. Now their sales, Neil, they mostly missed, and their midpoint is a miss for their sales guide. 10.24 bill versus 10.29 bill. Estimates were 10.29 bill, so that is not the most ideal of looks here for Salesforce. Again, they did beat on EPS and sales for the quarter they just reported, Q2.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind, we're expecting an 8% move, and that we did not
their gap EPS guide
we did not get to the downside. It's a big miss on the guide, but we just bounced on that.
Yeah, because they just got their
we
gap
just bounced
EPS
almost
guide
to flat, almost to flat here. The buyers came in at 45, then again at 50, and then we just tagged 56 as the gap EPS came in. If we slow it down for a quick little second and go into where this is trying to get from, off those numbers, heck, I'm just happy it didn't bust through the lows at this point.
That's fair.
Right? So it's still way off of the 225, 230 support. We got barely even a smidge to the downside here. But we did bounce when you mentioned those the gap numbers. But what's the other explanation?
That wasn't why they bounced, Neil, because those gap EPS numbers were not pretty. They did announce a $20 billion increase to their share repurchase program. That's likely why we bounced.
Sprinkle a buyback on it.
We got even worse guidance, though, in between all that. So we'll talk about that. The gap EPS guidance I am going to discuss, but that's not the worst thing we got here. They're guiding Q3 gap earnings between 160 and 162 per share. I mentioned this earlier, but what I didn't see was that the estimate was $1.80. So big miss. Again, they were in line with their adjusted EPS guidance for the quarter, but gap EPS, notable miss there. They lowered their guidance here for fiscal 2026 gap EPS, so that gap is going to be a problem here for Salesforce, might lead to a gap down. They guided, they're now guiding here EPS for the fiscal year between $6.99 and $7.03. Estimates, $7.22. Oof, but they did raise their adjusted EPS guidance for the year. So this is kind of bizarre, these metrics they're using. They raised their adjusted EPS guidance for the year. It is going to beat estimates. They also raised their sales guidance for the year. The midpoint is going to be exactly in line with estimates. This is a very mixed report, to put it mildly, Neil.
It is very mixed, but the market's they're not punishing them as bad as I guess they could. But at least American Eagle is flying like eagle-y. Get it, American Eagle. It's only up 5%, but hey, up is up. Expected move in this particular case. This is a shade of what we were expecting. We're expecting 12.5%. At absolute best, this was 6 or 7 points here for American Eagle. They beat. That's a decent beat, man. 45 cents per share versus 20. Sales beat by 1.28 billion to 1.237. So top and bottom so far for AEO. Haven't really seen any comp sales or anything like that.
Figma.
Now again higher, 1490, almost double digits now in AEO. 12.5% is the move that we are looking for. Now 10% to the upside there. Figma, my guess is not good.
Yeah, that's bad. They didn't even report earnings. $0.00 per share versus 18 cents expected. Sales, 249.64 million. Did nicely beat estimates of 228.2 million. But their revenue guide here, Neil, for the fiscal year, they're guiding 1.02 to 1.03 billion in revenue. That's a beat compared to 1.01 billion expected. But for Q3, they're guiding revenue between 263 and 265 million. It's also going to beat estimates of 256.8 million dollars. So yeah, they actually did beat here on guidance across the board. It's just this quarter they missed on revenue. We have so many earnings to go through. We went over American Eagle, so I'm going to leave those alone.
ASANA.
Let's take a look here. Yeah, HPE and ASANA. I'll just do HPE because I typed them first. HPE's down here. It's hard to find an earnings winner tonight. Looks like they beat here on revenue. Q3 revenue 9.14. Oh, that's actually a solid report. 9.136 billion here versus estimates of 8.497 billion. That's a hefty beat. They narrowly beat EPS estimates as well, 44 cents versus 43 expected. Now, they guided the lower end of their guidance exactly in line here for EPS. 56 cents to 60 cents here versus 56 expected. They're guiding sales well above estimates, though, for Q4. 9.7 bill to 10.1 bill versus 9.4 bill expected. And they raised their guidance here for EPS for fiscal 2025. That is also going to beat estimates. We'll talk about ASANA now quickly. I do apologize, guys, for the speed, because there's just a lot happening here. And we got to talk fast because these markets move even faster than I can talk somehow. So ASANA, good look here. Adjusted earnings narrowly beating estimates, 6 cents versus 5 cents expected. Sales, $196.94 million versus $193.01 million expected. That's a double beat for ASANA. But Neil, that's not it, because they actually raised their guidance, although even this guidance raise is notably below estimates, 23 to 25 cents here they're seeing for EPS for 26 versus 34 expected. That is still notably a miss. They also raised their sales guidance for the fiscal year. Also, again, a miss, and they didn't even beat by that much, but I guess it's just not as bad as it was or could have been, and so nice look there.
19% short float. 19% short float with ASANA. That's part of the story as well. That's how you get 17% up when you're kind of a ho-humming when you see those numbers, but it's about that short float. So who's winning all? Who's winning the aftermarket today? ASANA, American Eagle, both of them with more than double-digit short floats here. So that's the story. I think when we were talking about it, too, this is what we were sort of saying. If you had to put 10 grand into something, everyone wanted CRM because I guess you think it's safe. But the names that are running, GitLab. 18% now on American Eagle. 18%. This is blowing away the expected move. And ASANA, it's the same thing. GitLab is also reported. All I remember about this stock is I remember a couple of times after earnings, it was the easiest short when it tried to pop. But that was a different market that we're in right now. GitLab, another name reporting in here. But yeah, so far, if you don't start with an A, you're not winning.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty funny way of putting it. Let's take a look here at GitLab, though, because they actually beat estimates and they are dropping, and their guidance doesn't even, okay, their guidance might be the issue. We'll talk about the numbers here first, though. Q2 adjusted earnings, 24 cents versus 16 cents expected. That's a nice beat. Sales, 235.96 mil versus 227.25 mil expected. That is a double beat for GitLab. They're guiding EPS here 19 and 20, between 19 cents and 20 cents per share. 19 cents was the estimate, so they're in line. Sales, 238 million to 239 million. That's going to miss estimates of 241.548 million. That is going to be not as good of expected here for guidance. They did nicely raise their EPS guidance, though, for fiscal 2026 to 82 to 83 cents per share. That is nicely going to surpass estimates of 75 cents per share. Now, what else are we waiting for here? CHPT, I saw some people mentioning in the chat. I do have ChargePoint earnings, so let's get charged up over there. Neil, I think we're actually going to get everything by 410, which is pretty crazy. Let's take a look here at ChargePoint. Larger than expected loss per share for CHPT. $1.42 loss versus $1.21 expected. Sales were a beat, 98.59 million versus 96.643 million expected. And let's see if I have AI yet. Oh, I have AI. And apparently they just appointed a new CEO as well named Stephen Ehikan. I'll look into this man. But their numbers there were a double miss. So if you are in AI, you might not want to see
you would
have
have thought
right
it would
now.
go up on that.
Pardon?
You'd think at least it would go up replacing the CEO for a stock that's been getting destroyed. But remember C3AI, and there was no intention to make fun of C3AI. at all. But sometimes when you get a change in leadership on a stock that's failing, the market can react by buying the dip and saying, hey, this is a reversal of fortune. That's not happening. It just made a 52-week low. Just made a 52-week low.
This Stephen Ahikian guy, I have to look more into him, but he left the Trump administration to take on this role as CEO. So that is wild. I just looked into this man, and the first thing I got was this guy who was in the administration. I was like, that's kind of weird. So I looked up. Apparently, he left the administration on September 2nd. Today is September 3rd. So it's definitely this guy. I have to get a lot more info on our friend Steven, and I want to find out who the previous CEO was as well. But you guys know this is the type of stuff that I find fascinating and I think deserves a very big deep dive. So C3AI did withdraw its previous guidance for fiscal 2026. They reported a larger than expected loss per share. They had a massive sales miss, and they guided Q2 sales between $72 million and $80 million. Neil, that is well below estimates of $100.708 million. And I want to say too, Neil, one more thing. Having someone who is your CEO who is on the side of this administration isn't maybe as bullish as you might think, because Big Bear has a CEO who was actually like an acting cabinet member in Trump 1.0. And you would think, especially with them being on the defense side, that could be of note, but it doesn't really seem to have helped the stock.
No, it hasn't helped. Both have been
Adara deep dive done.
I'm only sort of thinking you're looking for excuses for this to be a bit of a dip. If it can now hold, it just made a fresh 52-week low, and for a couple of minutes here was at least trying to hold the bid underneath. But unfortunately, I did say if you begin with A, the only stocks that were winning is if you begin with an A, and then C3AI said, well, forget about that. It's only going to be ASANA and AEO. And what they also had in common, as I said before, it's going to be that short float. You're now looking at double the expected move here. Almost double the expected move. 12.5% what we expected from American Eagle. Them and ASANA, the clear winners here. And I believe it was ASANA to 17, I believe was the call. It's AEO that gets to $17. For sure, but to all of our viewers here, I think someone was saying they were swinging looking for the play into 17 on ASANA. That got very close. $16.5 before pulling back. So really, these are the two big winners. You've already had a deep pullback here on ASANA. I suspect AEO just has a little bit more of the hype game to it. I think that's a lot of the reason for the popularity and why we're talking about that one in particular as a chance to go in here today. But if we go back to brass tacks here, the largest earnings name, CRM, down a couple of percentage points. And in some ways, it could actually be worse. It could be worse. I feel like the reaction here so far you're getting from CRM to be able to hold the lows, the guide was relatively weak in my opinion. And if you can at least hold on to the bottom when you get bad news, that's a good sign. I mean, tell that to C3AI. That couldn't hold on to the bottom at all. CRM at least has a decent chance to be within spitting distance of flat, which is remarkable considering the
Pager duty. Yeah, we just got pager duty here around 4:07. I apologize we didn't go over this one, guys, but there was a lot to talk about, and I'm still looking into this Stephen Ahikian thing. But yeah, pager duty, 30 cents per share here for EPS versus 21 expected. Sales, $123.411 million, narrowly missing estimate of $123.639 million expected. They did raise their fiscal 2026 EPS guidance from or all the way to $1. Between $1 and $1.04 per share, that's going to beat estimates of 99 cents. But they narrowed their sales guidance, actually making the higher end of their sales guidance a little bit lower. So they're now expecting between $493 million and $497 million. That is going to basically miss estimates here of $496.97 million. And their EPS guidance here for next quarter is going to be a bit of a miss. They're guiding between 24 and 25 cents per share versus 26 expected. Sales guidance also going to be a miss as well, with the midpoint 124 mil to 126 mil versus 125.4 mil expected. The pager duty also here with a C-suite level announcement. They've appointed Todd McNabb as their chief revenue officer. I looked more into our friend Stephen Ahikian. If you guys don't mind, I have some really interesting stuff that I need to share.
What do you have?
So people were saying that Doge was popping. I don't know if this is why Doge is popping, but I looked briefly into Stephen Ahikian's government role. I really love saying his name. And did you know, Neil, that he was involved with the Department of Government Efficiency?
I did not know.
So that could maybe be part of why we get the Doge move. I don't want to make assumptions, but I think it is maybe worth considering. I don't think it should, but I'm saying it could, is what I'm saying.
It might. You never
and then
know.
the other thing here, too, is that he has Palantir connections as well. He was the COO or Chief Operating Officer for a startup run by Palantir alumni back in 2011. So this man is very fascinating. I'm probably going to spend a lot of time Googling him in the coming days. Probably not going to be an infographic, but like, who knows? So either way, I think this is a really interesting direction for AI. I think their numbers and guidance were rough enough, especially with their withdrawing of the 2026 fiscal guidance, that it kind of, the stock reaction makes sense regardless, but this could be an interesting move, Neil.
Yeah, it could be, but right now, the first sign of resistance, or maybe the second sign of resistance on American Eagle just happened, and it is at that aforementioned $17 range. So unfortunately, it was only able to go up more than 25% on earnings, and some of it's the numbers, some of it is people caught off guard short, and the hype that gets around this. Everyone by now, the Sydney Sweeney connection. You understand that the amount of press that they were able to get out of this is positive for them, and any beat is now magnified because I promise you, when we get short float data, that's delayed and that's old. And when you get a breakout like this, and it's already been going, well, if shorts tend to be stubborn too, just like anybody that buys a dip. Yeah, they tend to sell rips, and if they sold going into earnings, well, by my estimation, then as you can see, they're out 25%. Anything that was going to be new, because we've been consolidating higher for a while here on AEO. Now, it's not the only name that actually managed to run here on a positive print. ASANA, obviously, is just a recap with ASANA. It's now given back even more of the move, still double digits for ASANA. But this had a hefty pullback. I mean, it gave it all up and then caught a bid. So ASANA went 14.20, went up over 15%, came all the way back, and is now back to up 12%. This is what I meant by I don't necessarily care about the initial move. Show me how things settle down. You're seeing it, C3, that's C3i is going down. You've seen it with American Eagle settling down and holding highs. You've seen CRM on a bad print not make new lows, and you've seen ASANA have no idea where it wants to be. Yes. So that's the stock that I'm the least interested in because it can't seem to make up its mind. The reaction, at least, to the earnings. And my take on CRM is not that they had a good quarter. It's just that based on the quarter that they had, I'm surprised it didn't break a 52-week low.
Yeah, honestly. That's a good point. I think the buyback, though, is distracting people from some of those numbers because we heard I almost gave the grotesque gap EPS, and before I could do that, it popped on the $20 billion buyback edition. We just got Credo as well, but I remember I was waiting for Credo, so we'll get into Credo, and then I'll talk about the other thing with C3AI, and I apologize for beating a dead horse here, but there is actually, I think, a lot of elements with that C3AI CEO story that are worth touching on, and I will stand by that. So we'll talk about Credo first. Credo, actually, another one that is up the upside, so I think they got some cred behind their name here. Nice. Q1 adjusted EPS 52 cents versus 36 cents expected. That's a nice beat. Sales also a great beat, $223.074 million versus $190.77 mil expected. They guided Q2 sales here between $230 million and $240 million, nicely above estimates of $202.162 million. I remember I traded this one a couple earnings reports ago, and this thing, if it gaps up, it kind of tends to not give it up, but again, things can always change. Either way, that's why I put CRDO in here, because I've noticed it tends to have pretty massive earnings reactions. Now, let's talk about AI again, because I looked into their previous CEO in case you guys missed it. They did announce they're going to have a new CEO. So, Neil, do you remember when C3AI gapped down like a couple weeks ago or maybe a month ago? Yeah. And they said that they were going to have some guidance issues, and the CEO at the time, Thomas Siebel, who was also one of the founders here of C3AI, he's actually the founder of C3AI. So he had said at the time that his health issues were unfortunately leading him to have issues running the company. That was actually attributed in part to their guidance, and he was looking to find someone to replace him. So it looks like this could be maybe longer term a better catalyst. It is really unfortunate, obviously, to say, but he had acknowledged that his health issues, he was having vision problems too, so he couldn't run the business to the best of his abilities. He also does have some Trump campaign connections too as well, so that makes his choice of a Hikian a bit interesting too. And I don't want to, I'm just saying I'm trying to, point out connections where they're there.
Connect the dots where you can. Yeah, that's all that really matters.
So,
just information, everybody.
All I'm trying to do is provide information, and I will always provide information when I find it, and that's just what I'm trying to say here. But I think, I don't know if the applause is necessary. I'm just trying to do my job, but thank you very much there.
Get it there.
But yeah, so C3AI, I think, with the context that they already were guiding a worse quarter with Thomas Siebel's health issues, being known about, I don't know if this quarter is maybe, like, it's still obviously very bad, and the guidance going forward is very bad. The withdrawing of the fiscal 2026 guidance, though, might not be as bad as we think it is, because it could be they just need to recalibrate.
Well, that's
right?
well, they're telling you they want to recalibrate when you replace their CEO.
Right? Yeah, I actually think that's going to be a pretty interesting point. Obviously, I wish the best to Thomas Seibel, but man, this guy is a trooper. Did you know, Neil? Apparently, he was like trampled by an elephant in 2010. And survived.
I have serious questions about that, because here's my first take, and like it's very impressive that I'm glad he survived.
Yeah, this guy's amazing.
But to me, to get trampled by an elephant would suggest to some extent that you need to be in a situation in which you could be trampled by an elephant, which are situations that I tend to stay out of.
Oh, so he was in Tanzania. Apparently, it was 2009, guys. Sorry, not 2010. He was in Tanzania, and he was with a guide group, and then the guide apparently got charged at by the elephant, and then he turned to the other guy. The CEO.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys, this was completely went off topic. I apologize. But yeah.
I'm just, you got jokes in the chat, Jay Dizzle. That is cold as blood. That is cold-blooded. Come on, man. Even elephants hate C3AI. It's entirely possible that is true. This guy is an exit strategy guy. Man under an elephant can't be trusted. Figma stock can't be trusted either. So Figma actually beat estimates on sales. The miss was on EPS, right? They were expected to make a profit of 18 cents a share, and it was exactly zero. They're down only 7 points. I say only 7 points because there has been a bounce in Figma. It did make a new all-time low because obviously this just recently came to market. So every single print, underneath yesterday's close, is an all-time low. A little bit of a bounce back here for Figma, but it was the EPS miss. The guidance didn't even look all that bad. They saw Q3 sales as a pretty hefty beat. The midpoint 264 versus 248.78. So their guidance was good, and they still beat this stock up. If you can't even guide with a big beat for the next quarter, and you're still making a fresh low, part of that comes down to if a stock with better price history had been, and we always talk about price discovery for recent IPOs, they're still in the discovery phase. So unfortunately, maybe it hasn't matriculated down to a price that makes enough sense that they could get the benefit of the doubt here. So still finding a bottom here, unfortunately, for Figma. Upwork as well, Adara? Yeah,
UP, sorry to cut you off there, Neil. UPWK, I put it in the chat too, guys, but they announced a additional $100 million share buyback program. So in addition to a CRM, we have an Upwork-related buyback program announcement. Guys, if there's any other earnings you want us to go over or to recap, please let us know, because we have about 5 minutes left here. Someone else here, thank you, Hypercube, in the chat for mentioning that, I guess the extent to which the unit that the new CEO of C3AI worked with Doge. Yeah, he was, I guess, like not necessarily like a part of Doge, but I was seeing work together to an extent, so that was why I thought it potentially could have been a move of interest, but it's always hard, a lot of times you make these connections retroactively, right? So I just wanted to address that either way, because I saw people mentioning the Doge move, and then I found out that fact about Stephen Ahikian. So interesting stuff there. Yeah, thank you, Hypercube. I appreciate that. A former government appointee, that is indeed what Stephen Ahikian was, and now he is the appointee of CEO at C3AI. So interesting stuff there. Yeah, guys, let me know what earnings.
He's getting in at the right time, right? I mean, because they can't get any. I shouldn't say it can't get any worse, but they're at the absolute bottom. So a shakeup can certainly help them for sure. The chat is undefeated, by the way. Others think it's like the chat is tripping. No, our trading community and chat is entirely undefeated. They've got jokes. They definitely have jokes, but ultimately, Miami Dragon, I don't know if C3AI will get sold next year. I don't know about that, but it's certainly possible. And a lot of times you see depressed names, and they might be targets. I don't know. Usually you get a little bit more of a mature company that would get picked up on some of those. I'm not sure they're at that point just yet, but again, that's just my opinion. Mass 99.99. Beanie needs a new CEO. No, the former Mullen needs to stop scamming people. To do. We only have a couple minutes to go, but I'll just call it like it is. If someone's going to bring up formerly Mullen, I was put to the task for someone actually found a worse stock than this, BINI.
Did they?
Yeah, certainly there's been some names that have done some reverse splits and more, I guess, over the years than Mullen, but this is just the latest example of its reverse split. Yeah, reverse split to 740. fair to shareholders and everyone that they sucker in each time. But I don't want to look at something which is poor. If we're going to end on something, whoops, that's a New York stock. If we're going to end on something before we get into roll call, because it's already 426, it's got to be American Eagle. It's now back to that 17 level. American Eagle is the big winner, and like it, love it, understand some of the push as to why what might normally be a 12 or 13% move ends up being a 25, 26% move. You've got to understand momentum, float, short float, and the type of story that's going on here. You probably got some shorts that are in here just because of the controversy. And if they were new, then they have to get blown out. And that's the stock going higher. That's just how it is. Like it or don't like it, this is going to make it a trading vehicle tomorrow, and that's why we got to cover it. And it is your big winner, no questions asked. But you know what time it is? It's roll call time. And first off, I want to give a big shout out to the chat. Great participation all day today. We asked you guys if you could put $10K into one stock before earnings tonight, which are you picking? And the CRM was 54%. Fail. C3AI, 25%. AEO and ASANA. AEO, obviously 14%. I don't know why we didn't close this. It was under 10% when we originally asked. I know on the desk we both liked AEO just for this short float, same reason, but not a good look for CRM overall. But you know what time it is. It's roll call time. What we do around here is ask everybody to jump into the chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. It's a subs only chat. Give a big shout out to the Midday Boys. Give a big shout out to Sharif, to Joe, to my man Sean on the desk, to Brendan, to Fabian, Ramin, Andre on our team, to the entire team helping with the build of Studio 8, whether that's Mark, Rob, Randy, you see them around there, Russell in the back doing his thing, to Adara for having the memory of a robot, the enthusiasm of, I can't even like a hype man at the best rap show ever. I had to make a hip hop reference because I know you were into hip hop. Of course. And also finds time to trade during the day, which I'm not sure if she managed to do that at all. But give a big shout out to anyone that actually might have bought shares in ASANA or AEO, and congratulations to them. So jump in the chat. Let's get this roll call going.
I guess Trump was right when he said jeans are flying off the shelves, which is a real thing he said. You can find that post on X at TTV Research. Thank you so much to Neil. Thank you to Sean. Thank you to Sharif. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Brendan. We have Ramin. We have Fabian. We have Andre. We have Rahim Alani, who was killing it in a very fantastic suit this morning. Thank you to Randy, Rob, Mark, everybody. You see everybody you don't see, and everybody in this awesome chat here. T-Hyde, Grav. We've got Others Inc. We have Joe Schmo, Verneskis, Nakul, H. Chow, Damian Tarza, Chris over here, Christmas, Becky Capital, Notorious Dinkelberg and Nil, Ace High 124, Chuck of All Trades, John Fitz, Mike DeRider there, Michelle Lulu, T-Hyde again here, Nakul again, Mig Raj, Michelle Meir, John Fitz, Chuck of All Trades, Albatross, I love that one. Big Joel 360, and thanks again, Neil, for the kind words. I'm so happy to be here with you guys and be able to do something that I'm really enjoying in front of all of you. And again, guys, stay tuned for these Apple iPhone release-related infographics. It is becoming a much larger project than I anticipated, which means there will be a lot more data for you all to look at. So those should be coming out probably next Monday. Again, stay tuned.
There's so much that we have going on. The week isn't over yet. Heck, it's only hump day. And of course, tomorrow, I kept saying Thursday, like Thursday wasn't tomorrow with regards to Broadcom. So, yeah.
And Lulu.
And Lululemon. We've got a lot more action. You know what to do. Make sure you rest up, stay hydrated, have a lot of fun. But tomorrow we do it all over again. We're Trader TV Live, Market Recap Show brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex, and we'll see you at 8:30 in the morning to trade all these earnings names and give you the juice on the markets every single day, because that's what we're all about. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.